All right. What's up, you guys? Hopefully, you guys can hear me. Give me a thumbs up or a 100 down there in the listeners section. If you guys can hear me okay, let me know over on YouTube. Just doing a sound check real quick. Looks like we're good on X. How are we on YouTube, you guys? Can you hear me? Can you see me? Am I here? Are you there? That's the question. What is up, everybody? Woo! All right, perfect sound. We're good to go over on YouTube. All right. Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Candace dropping the bombshells tonight. Woo-wee. I have to say, after a year of struggling to understand why, we've talked about this at nauseum in my spaces. Um, after a year of struggling to understand why the Zionists were so invested in the outcome of the Tyler Robinson trial, now we know. Now we know conclusively, conclusively, right, that Charlie Kirk was abandoning the pro-Israel cause. Okay. Conclusively, we're going to read his text messages to Candace Owens. And I see a lot of cope out there. Oh, this was all in private. Oh, this is all blah, 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 blah. Right. The text message to his buddies, right? His TPUSA core leadership structure and his core donors, right? That's not private. A group chat is not a private message. It is not. Look it up. Look it up. Anybody can just class. We're going to take a moment and we're all going to look up, go Google it, Grok it, Gemini it, whatever it is you want to do, and say, is a group chat full of coworkers and donors private? Just yes or no. See what comes back up. They are tripping. They're absolutely tripping. I 100% understand why. 100% understand why Candace waited to put this out. 100%. I get it. I 100% get it. She was letting TPUSA expose itself for being bought by a foreign country. 100%. She was letting TPUSA expose itself as being corrupted, as being owned, right? After Charlie said he was done. Let me just say this. Charlie's text messages here, they are far more aggressive towards Jews than I have ever been. I was like, whoa, this is not the Charlie that we are led to believe, right? The Charlie that we are led to believe existed is a facade. It literally is Weekend at Bernie's. Literally. They are literally propping up a dead man and then using his legacy to propagandize his base. That's exactly what's happening here. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Do me a favor. If you're over on YouTube, go share the YouTube channel, hit that notification, hit the like button, gets the algo going, leave a comment in the chat. I am watching the chat too, by the way. Also, go down to the bottom right corner, share the space on X. Thank you so much, Request, if you have any comments. I'm going to go on a little bit of a monologue here. I'm going to read this to you, and then we can get into the discussion. Absolutely insane. I never would have imagined Charlie Kirk talking like this about Jews. But, that last text message actually kind of alluded, right, is that he was frustrated with being bullied by Jewish donors, right? And so we have here, and I'm going to read now. I'm quoting. Actually, maybe we will let Candace. Let me make sure. Let's share this tab instead. Let's see if it plays. You guys over on over on YouTube. Let me know if it sounds good.
Who try and tell me to stop.
So I clipped it a little bit too late. So it says, good. This is a text message from Charlie where she's venting about what she's going through with the Daily Wire, right? This is Candace is over here in the blue. Charlie is in the gray. Okay. And she's saying that she's getting bullied by the Daily Wire. That's where she worked at during this time. She worked for the Daily Wire for Ben Shapiro. And she's saying that she's done with it. So quoting Charlie now, good. I've told all the Jews recently to go to hell who try and tell me to stop. End quote. I've told all the Jews recently to go to hell who try to tell me to stop. Okay, let's listen to what she has to say.
I said, it's unreal. It's an implicit threat. He said, BTW did the flight workout, okay? I was 40 weeks pregnant, and he was helping me to find.
I just want you to notice, because she was not carrying water for October 7th. This is just after these texts exchange. This happened right after October 7th, right? This is in 2024. This text exchange is almost 2 years ago, right? It's between 1.5 and 2 years ago. And this is the year after, I think after, I forget how long. It's not too long after October 7th. And Candace would not carry water for Gaza, right? She would not carry water for it. And she was taking heat from within the Daily Wire. She felt threatened. You can hear it there. It's unreal. I'm quoting her now in response to him. Quote, it's unreal. It's an implicit threat. Okay? Let's continue.
On a plane last second. And I said, by the way, you are featured in my Tucker interview that just dropped. I defended you hardcore. I forgot to mention that he just dropped it. And he said, thank you. We are on the same team. Screw these people. And I said around the 20-minute mark. And he said, thank you for doing that. I really appreciate it. Very few of us are willing to stand up to the cabal right now. I said, thank you so much.
To the cabal. Charlie dropping the C-bomb. Right? I have seen so many people get called anti-Semites and Nazis and Jew haters and all kinds of stuff for dropping the word cabal, right? Charlie Kirk, right? Calling out the cabal. I thought that was a Jewish conspiracy theory. Here you have Israel's poster boy, literal poster boy, like literally calling out the cabal. Crazy, bro. Crazy. That's crazy. Never thought I would ever see that.
To the cabal right now. I said, thank you so much for having my back. You know, I have yours. I'm really so disgusted by what they did to you. Years of service to the pro-Israel cause, and no one cares, treating you like you are only as good as what you can do to them. The plane worked out great today. Thank you so much. It made all the difference. This pregnant, LOL, I'm literally 40 weeks. And he wrote, absolutely, we are on the same team. People are waking up, and it is finally happening. He continued, it is so transactional. I am repulsed by it. For years, I was called a Jewish shill. And now they say I am a Hamas agent. Screw them. The game has changed.
Screw them. The game has changed. I want you to take note. Oh, this was right after October 7th. The date is at the bottom. November 16th, 2023. 2023, right after October 7th. She was not toting the line on Israel and Gaza like she was supposed to be, and neither was Charlie, right? This isn't in 2024 during the election. This isn't in 2025 when he was vocally speaking his disdain on podcasts with Megyn Kelly, on his own show, right? This is in 2023. We have been led to believe that when he said something about leaving the pro-Israel cause, he was just venting in a moment of frustration to his near and dear, private, closest friends, right? This is utterly asinine. This is evidence that Charlie Kirk has been struggling with the Jewish donors and the pro-Israel activists for years, not just 2 days before he was assassinated, years he was struggling with it. And Barron made a good, very, very good observation tonight, right? When I was watching him, they watch all of our text messages, right? We think that we live in this world of privacy. Edward Snowden told us in 2013, there is no privacy, right? We take in everything from everybody all the time in other countries and our own. And in exchange, they give our information to those foreign countries in trade, right? So Israel's probably reading these text messages. They knew Charlie was falling off for a long time, right? What you say in private is just the tip of the iceberg, or what you say in public is just the tip of the iceberg. It's always the case, right? It's always the very little bit that you can see of what's actually underneath. Well, this is unrefutable evidence that Charlie was dissenting from the pro-Israel cause for years, almost 2 years before he was assassinated. Who knows what he was saying to his other people in his inner circle, the people at TPUSA, his producers, Blake Neff, Andrew Colvett, his wife. Who knows what he was saying in private to these people? I find it very hard to believe Candace was the only person that he was confiding in this way. I wonder which one led to his demise. There's somebody around Charlie Kirk. Okay? There was somebody around Charlie Kirk that he said the wrong thing to, in my opinion. And they relayed that, and it led to his extermination, which is really sad. Really, really sad, man. But, we have been told, let me see if I can pull it up. We have been told that that this was a one-off. His disdain was a one-off, right? That he, let me see. Actually, it's probably on my profile. Let me pull it up. Let's see. Leaving Israel. And if you guys could go down and share the space, help me move my post. I got shadow banned last week with my reporting from Penguich, and my you can see I posted a picture of my analytics that just went phew straight down. So any help is appreciated. And then they suspended Harmony, my co-host, suspended her, no explanation. Can't get anybody to respond. They reviewed it. They upheld it. So something's going on with that because they're clamping down on speech. Not pretty. Okay, here it is. So I posted this in January, 9/7/2025. This is 2 days. I'm sorry, this is the wrong date. This is actually 9/8. 2 days before Charlie Kirk was publicly assassinated, he wanted to invite Candace Owens to speak at AmFest, and he announced he was leaving the pro-Israel cause due to bullying and pressure from donors. His last wishes were not honored. Nothing can change the facts, and no, they were not. Turning Point has turned into a mouthpiece of Zionism, right? Period. You have his wife, Shabbat Shalom, immediately. Ben Shapiro reportedly giving them $1 million when he went over there, his envoys for AmFest. They had a Shabbat table, right? What's happening at Turning Point in the wake of Charlie Kirk is an absolute travesty. It is blasphemy, right? We're talking about a dead person, not a dead person, a murdered person. You know what they say, dead men tell no tales? That's Charlie Kirk, right? And instead of him telling his tale, you have this organization lying, right? Lying in his memory. saying, "Oh, he had some frustrations. There were some inner arguments and discussions and yada yada yada." No, he was done. He was done, and you cannot convince me of otherwise. I'm gonna get them side by side here. Let me see it. There we go. Okay, side by side here. Let me see if it's on X. There we go. So side by side, right? This is in 2023. I told all the Jews to go to hell, right? He told all the Jews to go to hell, and who tried to tell him to stop what? Stop being critical of Israel, right? Saying don't like wipe out Gaza. They called it a genocide. Um, and then you have 2 days before, actually, even before that. Let me pull up another one just real quick. Real quick, we have one more. It's the wrong one. That's, there it is. Okay, so let's do one more. Okay, let me pull it up over here. Okay, and then we had Harrison Smith. Let me pull it up. Harrison Smith, who works for InfoWars, or then InfoWars, or whatever it is, Alex Jones. He posted. Why is it doing this? He posted on Twitter. Let me see. Here it is. So let me find it. I did a space. Why is it not on here? That's crazy. All right. So I did a space with Candace Owens. I want to say, when was this? On December 30th. Man, I was getting attacked so hard for this. We'll pull this up first. We'll do a timeline. Okay. So we have, let me pull it up first. Okay. So here's the timeline. All right. Now this is all important. Why? Because it goes to potential motive. I see that our typical, Alfred, I would love to have you come up and weigh in on this. Of course, you don't have to, but after I get done with my monologue, I'm almost done. So you have in 2023, around the time of October 7th, maybe you guys can't see it right there. Let me move it over. There we go. October 7th, we have Charlie siding with Candace against the Daily Wire and the pro-Israel activists that are pressuring them. We are on the same team. So what he says, we are on the same team. Screw these people. Okay. This is right after October 7th, when the propaganda and the attacks were like maxed out, right? They were maxed the F out. Man, my shit is so throttled. Please go down to the bottom right corner and repost the space. I see that we have 240 people in here and 35 reposts. Over on YouTube, share that out. I just put the link up in the Jumbotron. This is crazy, bro. Crazy. All right, we're going to keep going through it. So here he is in 2023, towards the end of the year, being very critical towards Jews, not just Jews, but also against the activists that she's dealing with at the Daily Wire, right? And he's saying, we are on the same team. Screw these people. Okay. And then he says this, he goes further. The game has changed. Very few of us are willing to stand up to the cabal right now. Right? Stand up to the cabal. That's laced with all kinds of anti-Semitism, according to the ADL. You can't say the word cabal. That's anti-Semitic. You can't tell Jews to go to hell. That's anti-Semitic, right? What's going on here? We're on the same team. You can't be on the same team as Candace Owens. That's anti-Semitic. Demon. She's a demon. Right? According to what I've been seeing for the last 10 months, she's demonic. Does this mean Charlie Kirk is demonic? Is that what that means? Since him and Candace are on the same team, are you saying that he's demonic? Sounds like that's what they're saying, doesn't it? Sounds like that's what they're saying. So very clearly, Charlie Kirk was done with their bullshit 2 years ago. 2 years ago. Well, why didn't he abandon the cause then? Well, because he was taking money from them, millions and millions of dollars to keep the organization. I think millions. Oh, the title. Okay. 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 We'll see. We'll see if the title is it. We'll see. We'll see if that helps. Charlie Kirk was taking millions and millions of Jewish donor and pro-Israel donor money. I think that's why he stayed with it. And you know, he may have genuinely believed in the cause, right? Two things can be true at the same time. One, he's being paid to have an opinion. Obviously, this is true. Two, he may have fundamentally believed at some level it was his Christian Zionist duty to support the pro-Israel cause. I also think that he was an intellectual and he was struggling with the Christian Zionist aspect, right? And the reality of what he was witnessing, and the reality of the pressure of his donors, and the reality of the pressure of his peers to conform, right? And to control his speech, not just his speech, but the speech of his organization and the people around him, right? And that's antithetical to his messaging. So he's in a this is what, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we call a dilemma, right? A dilemma is the choice between two poor outcomes, right? That's a dilemma. When you have a choice to make and either outcome is negative. So here he is in 2023. And this next part is really, really important. And I couldn't find the post. I can't believe it won't pull it up. Maybe there's down here in the comments. I don't see it anywhere. I tried to look for it. It's crazy that I couldn't pull it up. So I'll just post this. So um, I asked Harrison Smith during an X space because he had posted. Let's find it. I don't like the fact that I can't find it. I want to show you the whole timeline. Harrison Smith posted in August, I think, last year. It was August or July. I'm pretty sure it was early August, that someone within TPU, Charlie Kirk's, someone close to Charlie Kirk, had told him that if he left the pro-Israel cause, that if he left the pro-Israel cause, that they would kill him. That's what. There's one. Okay, so we want that one. So we'll take that over there. Okay, and hopefully you guys aren't hearing it. Let me mute it. Okay, it's muted. And then let me see if we can find the. Let me see if I can find the post where he said he was leaving the. So Harrison Smith posted on X, and it went really viral. I mean, this post has like 40 million views. Oh, there's the exchange I was looking for between Candace and Harrison about that remark. Okay, cool. I'm glad I found that. All right. We'll get into that in a second. So there's another one. Okay. Wow. All right. So we have that one. Here's me asking him. I think we'll just start here. So 2 weeks before Charlie Kirk's assassinated, Harrison Smith says that someone close to Charlie informed him that Charlie was afraid he would die if he flipped on Israel, right? So here we go. This is me asking. I'm on stage on Candace Owens video space. Okay. And me asking Harrison Smith, okay, that if he had ever gotten questioned about that statement from the FBI after he was assassinated. So here we go.
Well, here's a good example. Harrison, you posted 2 weeks before Charlie Kirk died that there was a credible threat against his life. Has the FBI reached out to you to ask you about that?
No.
Also,
No.
like, are you going to tell us who that was? It feels like that might be relevant now.
Yes.
So someone said if he leaves the pro-Israel cause, he thinks he's going to get killed. Okay. 2 weeks later, he says he's leaving the pro-Israel cause. And then 2 days after that, he gets killed. Okay. It's kind of significant, don't you think? A little important that somebody close to him, right? This is documented on the timeline. So it's not like a rumor that somebody said to somebody in passing conversation, right? Harrison Smith posted this to X. Okay. Anyways, hopefully you guys can hear me. I'm looking. All right. Anyways.
So in the absence of a rigorous investigation by the agency, we are led to lead this investigation. That is why Fort Huachuca is so relevant. But I was going to ask you, thank you, Candace. Can you tell us who told you that? Because
He's
the
dead now.
FBI is not asking you.
Yeah, I mean, the person that told me asked me not to say who they were, so I'm not going to give up a source. Sorry.
Yeah, so he refuses to share his source. Like, that's the person who was close to Charlie that said, "Hey, Charlie thinks he's going to die if he leaves the pro-Israel cause." Oh, which is fine. As a journalist, I can respect that. We don't have to even when to the government. You don't have to disclose your sources. We're protected by the First Amendment. There are certain court cases when it's like a criminal act, you are required to respond. Now you can hide behind the Constitution, but you can, it can be problematic. So I posted last night, Harrison Smith disclosed that the FBI has not reached out to him despite him posting about a credible threat to Charlie Kirk's life 2 weeks before he was shot. This is why we are investigating Charlie Kirk's assassination. Now, I want to remind you, okay, this is on almost New Year's Eve, right? This is New Year's Eve, December 30th. Let me just say this. This was the second most amount of like bot and Zionist and systematic attacks I have ever faced on this platform was during this whole escapade, right? I had the Wally Market Network after me. I had all of the Zionists, all of the Con Inc. influencers that we now know are paid shills. All of them were attacking me at the same time. I had bot networks after me because I was interviewing Mitch Snow and because I was investigating this angle of the assassination alongside Candace and these other people on stage here, Ian and Mel and Ryan and all the rest of them. And I was taking so much heat. The only other times that I've taken that much heat was just recently over my Utah reporting, and then also Epstein when I was digging into the CIA Mossad angle on Epstein. Those were when the most like coordinated attacks on me have always occurred is when those three events, right? So I want you to note this in your timeline. 2 weeks before Charlie Kirk was assassinated, Harrison Smith tells us that there is a credible threat to Charlie Kirk's life if he leaves the pro-Israel cause. Okay, that's after this is, this is well over about a year after these text messages with Candace, where he's saying, we're standing up against the cabal. His words, not mine. I don't even use that word. right? We're standing up against the cabal. I'm on your team. That's what he said, right? He's on Tucker's team. He's on Candace's team. And apparently he's tired of being bullied too. So fast forward. So we have 2023, clear indication Tucker is dissenting from the pro-Israel cause. Okay. 2025 in August, Harrison Smith discloses that someone close to Charlie Kirk, that Charlie thinks that if he leaves the pro-Israel cause, they will kill him. Okay. That's what he said. And our FBI never followed up on that, by the way. It got 36 million, I think 24 million views by the time we had this conversation. And the FBI never followed up on it. Imagine that. Okay, so now let's fast forward to... Well, there's another little clip there, but we won't get into that. Let's fast forward to 2 days before Charlie Kirk's assassinated. Now, Charlie had increasingly grown more vocal about not anti-Israel, but critical of Israel's sentiment when it came to Gaza, right? And like the breaking ceasefires, and for was there a stand down order? Famously, he said near the end there, right? He had a podcast with not Benny Johnson. I'm sorry. Who's the short little midget guy? They say, what's his name? Maze. Who am I thinking about? Anybody? You guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you. Sorry.
Who's the midget on the pony? What's his name?
The midget on the pony.
Oh my God, I can't believe you guys didn't just all hop to say Ben Shapiro. What the hell is wrong with you? Never mind.
Ben Shapiro.
I need a whole new crew.
I didn't
Request,
know he was
please.
a
We need more
midget.
speakers. Anyways, 2 days before Charlie Kirk is assassinated, okay, he says this, and I'm going to quote: Charlie Kirk just lost another huge Jewish donor, $2 million a year, because we won't cancel Tucker. I'm thinking of inviting Candace, and they hated Candace because she would not jump on board. That's when they got rid of her at the Daily Wire, right? They fired her. Him inviting Candace and Tucker to Amfest as speakers is a sin against these people, right? I want you to think about this. He says another huge Jewish donor. So that's one Jewish donor. He had already lost other Jewish donors, right? We don't know how much that was. How many? And we're talking annually. We're not talking about one-time donations. Annual millions of dollars, right? 2 million with just one donor. We don't know how big the other one was, right? And remember when I said, well, why was he if he was critical of Israel and he was tired of it, back in 2023, as we can see he was, why didn't he do something sooner? And I would argue is because he was receiving millions of dollars of years from these people to keep his opinion, to keep his mouth shut. He really was being paid to put out a message. And you can clearly see he was no longer believing in that message. I think what we're seeing here is the transformation of Charlie Kirk from a political activist, right, to a paid mouthpiece, and then to a conscientious objector, right? Towards the end there is where he no longer aligns, right? He was okay with doing it before because he kind of believed it. But as reality set in, right, he started to realize that he could no longer support this with who he was. And as the indicators of that became visible, as the indicators of that became visible to the rest of the people around him, to the powers that be within the CIA, the NSA, the Israel, right? Mossad, probably, right? the assets that were placed around him. As it became increasingly obvious that he was shifting, he was making a shift. The pressure mounted. They bullied. They called him names. You can see, right? Where is it? Said right here, right? It's all so transactional. He's telling you what it's really like. This is the real Charlie Kirk. This is really what he was experiencing, and this is really how he was treated when he was having a conscience, right? Quote, it's so transactional. I am repulsed by it. For years, I was called a Jewish shill, and now they say I am a Hamas agent. Screw them. The game has changed. It's not conservatives calling him a Hamas agent. It's not Americans calling him a Hamas agent, right? It's not even Democrats calling him a Hamas agent. It's Zionists. Zionists are calling him a Hamas agent. How do I know that's true? Because I've experienced it. I've been called a stooge for Russia. I've been called a Hamas agent. I've been called a CCP agent. I've been called all of these various names for simply reporting accurately what I find, right? I've been in that shoes. I'm getting it now. Don't believe me? Go look at the replies for my posts for the last 2 weeks. Every name in the book. I have Spaces hosts putting my name in the title. Charlie Kirk show producers in Spaces with my name in the title, full of Zionists attacking me and Candace Owens for hours. Go look. Search my name on Spaces dashboard. Go look at the most recent ones, right? I've experienced this. And you know what's funny is that I have never accepted $1 from any Israeli cause or any other foreign cause for that matter. Not one penny, right? But I also have never attacked Israel, like rhetorically. I've never been against Jews. I don't care. I don't have a problem with Zionists. I only have a problem with people who fuck with my country, period. So if you are a part of a group that is fucking with my country, then I have a problem, right? But if you want to go be Israeli supremacists over in Israel or even here, by all means, have at it, but not at my expense, not at our future's expense, right? That's where I have a problem. So, you can see, man, this is so beautiful right here. It's so transactional. I am repulsed by it. For years, I was called a Jewish shill, and now they say I am Hamas agent. Screw them. The game has changed. God bless Candace for posting this, right? She's been sitting on this whole time as they lie about how he felt about her, as they have lied on that show about how she felt about him, right? As they have lied about his perceptions of Israel for the last couple of years. Every single thing that they have said is an absolute lie, right? They do not deserve to have any kind of platform at all. They are nothing more than a propaganda outlet on behalf of a foreign state. Period. Right? That is what they are. And we have to call this out. This is I think he's no longer with us because he would have opposed the NDAA. Our treasonous Congress just passed, right? Merging our most critical infrastructure with Israeli origin tech. As you can see how pervasive they are, manipulative, how much money they're paying to propagandize us, right? He's saying it right there. $2 million a year. Jewish donors and pro-Israel donors aren't spending $2 million a year in conservative activism and not expecting something in return. What do you think that they're getting for their $2 million a year? You think that they're doing that out of the goodness of their hearts? No. They're buying influence. They're buying influence in the biggest conservative consent manufacturing machine in the United States, TPUSA, Charlie Kirk. It's called a consent manufacturing. When I say that, that means he goes and he finds voters, right? He wins the hearts and minds at colleges. Through Turning Point Action, they have a whole door knocking apparatus, right? They have all of these resources to convince people to vote one way or support this. The evangelical crowd, right? We're talking about a massive, massive amount of influence. I've been there. I've drinking the Kool-Aid. I drank the Kool-Aid, right? When I went to AmFest, I drank that Kool-Aid. I didn't drink this Kool-Aid, but I drank the Trump Kool-Aid, the Republican Kool-Aid, and that was through him. And I have to say, I'm really grateful that things went the way they went with me, so that I could be really aware of my surroundings going into 2026. If it hadn't been for Epstein, I still might be drinking the Kool-Aid. And where would we be then, right? So that's how I know God's got a plan. So anyways, here we are, 2023. He's obviously disgruntled with the Jewish donors there and Israel. Between 2023 and 2025, he had increasingly made public statements that Israel was pissed, that Zionists were pissed about, right? They were pissed that he was saying that Gaza was a genocide. They were pissed that he was asking if there was a cease down order on October 7th, right? They were pissed about him calling out the pressure campaigns and the tactics, right? They were pissed. They were pissed at him. They called, you know how they were like, oh, the left called him a Nazi. Zionists were calling him a Nazi. Go look. The last year he was alive. Search it. It wasn't just leftists.
But the
Zionists were calling.
Zionists are leftist and right. Like they're on both sides, just so you know. It's not a partisanship thing.
Zionists were calling him a Nazi, right? So you can't just say, oh, the radical left called him a Nazi and that's why he got shot. Well, Zionists were also calling him a Nazi. So if that's motive for the left to kill him, are you saying that it's not motive for Zionists? I would argue that it is. That rhetoric is instigating either way. Now, I don't believe words are violence. I don't believe in scholastic terrorism. Thank you. Had a hard time with that one. I don't believe in that. The Brandenburg Rule, if you guys don't know what that is, the law is very clear in the United States, right? You cannot make calls for harm or direct threats. Calls for imminent harm or direct threats are illegal speech in the United States. You also cannot defame people. That's a civil constitutional breach where you're in breach of someone else's constitutional rights, right? So there's only a few. There's other various forms of illegal speech. Blackmail, for example, this is illegal speech, right? Certain forms of conspiracy, but only when they're laden with another crime. The speech itself, isolated, is not illegal, right? But when it's laden with another crime, then it's illegal. Blackmail, that's illegal speech, right? So if you're a constitutionalist, or if you believe in the Constitution or the First Amendment, as Charlie did, right? You can call him a Nazi, and they did call him a Nazi, but he still talked to them, right? He still talked to them. The problem is that he was not taking money from leftists calling him Nazis. He was taking money from Zionists who were calling him Nazis and calling him Hamas agent. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Is Hamas not the sworn enemy of Zionists? Maze? Hello? Anybody?
Yeah, no, what'd you say? Sorry. I know the reason why is I'm not even gonna tell you why. Anyway, just tell me what the question was.
Is Hamas not the sworn enemy of Zionists?
It's, yeah, I mean, typically all Muslims, but Hamas right now, currently, that's one of the top ones, yeah.
Right. So what does it mean when the Zionists are calling Charlie Kirk Hamas? Are they portraying him as their ultimate enemy?
Ooh, I see what you did there.
I'm not doing anything.
Well, no, I mean, I get it. I get your point. What the fuck? I agree. I understand. There was a good way of expressing it.
I mean, it says it right there, right? It's so transactional. I'm repulsed by it. For years, I was called a Jewish shill, and now they say I am a Hamas agent. So they're saying that it
only
is
as good as what you can
he
do
is
to
their
them.
ultimate enemy.
The plane worked out great today.
Right?
Thank you so much. It made all the
So
difference.
that's
This pregnant literally 40 weeks. And he wrote
2023,
absolutely, we are on the same
and then
team.
the
People
summer
are
of
waking up and it is
2025,
finally
Harrison Smith
happening.
tells us that
He continued, it is so transactional. I am repulsed
that somebody's
by
going
it.
to take
For
out
years,
Charlie
I
Kirk
was
if he
called a
abandons the pro-Israel
Jewish shill.
cause.
And now they
Where's it
say
at?
I am a
Right?
Hamas
Right
agent.
there.
Screw them. The game has changed.
2 weeks before he died. That's me asking Harrison Smith about it. And I won't get into that. That's a whole nother rabbit hole. What happened there? So I'm looking at the. Do me a favor, you guys. Bottom right corner, repost the space. Thank you so much. So then, 2 weeks before he dies, we're told if he leaves the pro-Israel cause, they'll kill him. 2 days before he dies, he sends this text message to his inner circle. All of his leadership at TPUSA and the Charlie Kirk show, and also we learned later Josh Hammer is in here, who is like a spokesman for the pro-Israels, right? There's a couple of rabbis in there. Some of the Jewish donors are in there, right? So this is not a private text chat. This chat is full of all of the people who cared the most or were affected the most by what Charlie Kirk had to say. Quote, just lost another huge Jewish donor, $2 million a year because we won't cancel Tucker. I'm thinking of inviting Candace. Someone on his show says, ugh. Charlie Kirk says, Jewish donors play into all of the stereotypes. I cannot and will not be bullied like this, leaving me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. No choice. This is not like I might not, right? I'm venting, but I'm probably not going to carry through with this. No. We now have evidence that this actually began at least in 2023. Okay? Right there. This began at least in 2023. This is the conclusion of that process. This isn't a one-off venting in isolation. We now have conclusive proof that he had began dissenting the pro-Israel cause just after October 7th. When the heat was ramped up the most. Everybody was in a frenzy. It was 24-hour spaces. Here I am trying to talk about American politics. All of Spaces, Maze knows she was doing it, right? All of Spaces split into two factions, and you had half of the internet arguing about Gaza, and the other half of the internet is arguing about Israel, right? And I wanted no fucking part of it. Well, no part of it. And here is a guy who was being paid to have a position, and you can see he cannot reconcile having that position enough to appease the people paying him, right? Like he was supposed to have this position no matter what. Keep your mouth shut, do as you're told. Don't invite these people who speak out against what Israel's doing, right? Be a good boy, or is it goy? Be a good goy, right? And he was no longer doing it, right? He was saying fuck you. He was saying this here, right? And then he finally said it here 2 years later almost. And I think This is when they probably pulled the trigger, literally. This is so. I think this text messages. I think this was already going to happen, but I think this text message, and there's other reasons. I'm not saying Israel killed him, right? This is a motive. I think that the Republican apparatus, I think the intel agencies locally had reason to take him out too. They want control of TPUSA. It's a huge consent manufacturing machine. It has massive resources. You can do whatever you want with the money. It's an NGO. Doesn't have taxes, right? We saw that he called for a Doge audit. Never happened. Right before he died. And so who knows what kind of funneling and other activities could have been going on there. But 2 weeks before he died, he said he was going to we were told that he would get killed if he left the pro-Israel cause. 2 days before he died, he said he was leaving the pro-Israel cause definitively. And then 2 days later, he's publicly assassinated under some of the most suspicious circumstances and one of the weakest assassination narratives I've seen. And I've been covering, JFK and RFK, and we've done deep dives on all of it. MLK, right? We've done deep dives on all of this stuff. And you can see that this is motive. And so 100% motive. So it's no longer he was venting. Okay. They can no longer use, but the next day he prepared with Jewish rabbis to defend Israel out on campus. Right. Well, the schedule, UVU, that campus tour had been scheduled for weeks, right? That preparation had been scheduled before this text, right? He was just following his commitment to the people that were paying him. Much like an abusive wife might still sleep with her husband, they might still have moments where they're not at each other's throat, right? They still might have those moments, even though he's an abusive husband. And then when she ends up deceased, just because the last time that they were seen in public, they were getting along, doesn't mean that he wasn't involved, right? He had an ongoing motive. There was already ongoing tension there. If she was telling people that she was thinking about getting a divorce, right? He has a motive to take her out. Even if they were getting along, if they went out to dinner on Tuesday and they had a beautiful dinner and all of their friends were there with them, it was a dinner party. He got a promotion at work, right? And they went home and they had a good night. You know what I mean? And then the next day, they get into a big fight. And only their inner circle knows about it, right? The close family, their kids, their friends, stepkids, whatever. And then 2 days later, she ends up dead. Who's the first person that they're going to go look at? The first person the cops are going to go talk to is the husband and the friends, especially if it's a whodunit, right? Who did it? We don't know who did this. They're going to talk to all of the surrounding people in their relationship, their family members, their friends. They're going to ask them, was there problems here? Did they have some problems? Well, yes, detective, they did have problems here and there. I don't know the extent of it, but it would surface every now and then. We would see them get into fights. He'd raise his voice. She told me that he put his hands on her one time, said it was just going to be that one time. I'm not sure if it was, right? And she told me that he thought, if one of those friends said, she told me that, she thought she was scared to leave him because she thought that he might kill her. Huge alarm bells go off, right? Huge alarm bells should be going off. But we don't have a functioning government. If we had a functioning government, this would have been investigated as a motive. When
who try
old
and tell me
good
to
old
stop.
Harrison
I said
told
it's
me,
unreal. It's an implicit
right?
threat. He said,
good old
BCW did
Harrison
the flight
told
workout,
us
okay?
that
I was 40 weeks pregnant. He
if
was
the
helping me
wife
to find a
that
plane
that
last
the wife
second.
thinks that if she
And I
leaves
said,
the husband,
by the way, you are
the
featured in my
husband's gonna
Tucker
kill
interview
her,
that just dropped. I defended you
right?
hardcore. I forgot to
A
mention
good
that he just
good
dropped
investigator,
it. He said, thank you.
a good
We are
government
on the
would have
same
followed
team.
up on
Screw
that
these
lead.
people.
They
And
never
I said
did.
around the 20-minute mark.
They never did. They
And he
never.
said, thank you for doing that.
Well,
I really
here's a good
appreciate it.
example. Harrison, you
Very few
posted
of
2
us are
weeks
willing to
before
stand
Charlie
up to the
Kirk
cabal
died
right now.
that there was a credible threat against his
I said,
life.
thank you so much
Has
for
the
having my
FBI
back.
reached
You know,
out
I
to
have
you to
yours. I'm
ask you
really so
about that?
disgusted by what they did to you. Years of service to the Purge real
No.
cause, and no one
Also,
cares.
like, are you going to
Treating
tell us who that
like
was?
you are
It feels
only
like
as
that.
good as what you can do to them.
Has the
Plane worked out great
FBI
today.
reached
Thank you so
out to
much. It
ask
made all
you
the
about
difference. He's
that?
pregnant. LOL.
No.
Literally 40 weeks, and he wrote,
No, it was
absolutely, we are on the same
transferee
team.
lover
People are
Tyler
waking up and it
Robinson,
is
who's
finally
in 6
happening.
places at once, can
He
teleport between
continued, it is so
Penguich
transactional.
and
I'm
Orem
repulsed by it. For years,
instantaneously.
I was called a Jewish
Nope.
shill.
No need to
And now they
ask any
say
questions
I'm
here.
a Hamas agent.
We only have
Screw
a credible
them.
threat against
The
his
game
life
has
just before he
changed.
died. No need to look any further. That's what we get from our government. So obviously our government is still completely compromised or controlled or whatever, as it has been for a very long time. And the fact that they would never follow up on this, they were acting like we were crazy. Do you remember Andrew Colvett, his response to this? These people have no shame. Andrew Colvett, I wish I could pull up the clip. I don't want to pull it up right now. This was this is an internal discussion we have been having for a few months. It was a struggle, whatever he could to minimize it. When the reality of the matter is that Charlie was having doubts about it for years, and this was the conclusion that he left. And 2 days later, he died. And we do not know. Look, in January 20th, she pulled it out when they were lying to her. I quote posted her. Quote, here, this is October 19th. Okay. Tucker and Vivek making so much sense. Cooler heads prevailing. She's saying this to Charlie Kirk. Yes, reason will win. The Jews who care about Israel better calm down or else they will be on an island. Their behavior is maniacal. You're around the 12:30 mark. There's a reason Candace can't share any text from Charlie since 2018. She's calling that out. 2013, right after October 7th. There is Charlie Kirk calling the Jews maniacal with their behavior after October 7th, trying to force people to share their perspective. And it wasn't working. And she just released some more of those texts today. And it shows that he was having these thoughts years ago. This is the conclusion of Charlie Kirk's journey. Maybe I would say getting red pilled. I don't even think you could say that anymore. I think that term has been hijacked. It's not J pilled. I saw them saying, "Oh, he was based, he was J pilled, whatever." This is Charlie Kirk's internal journey with his own soul, right? He's reconciling taking money from people to propagandize Americans into supporting something that he morally could not support, and had increasingly spoken out against it that last year. So much that he was considered a threat. How do we know that he was considered a threat? Because they were calling him Hamas. That's how we know, right? That's in his own words. They were calling him Hamas. And that is Israel's enemy. So, okay, I think I've gotten through that enough. We can kind of just open it up. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about that. Tomorrow, I'm going to jump back to the investigation and go into the Tyler Robinson timeline. I spoke with, I'll save that for tomorrow. So go ahead, brother. What's up?
What's up, Diligent? And thank you for letting me go first, just because I'm on limited time. But well said, well said. Couple things, that I thought of while you were saying all that was all you're doing is deductive reasoning, right? Like that's all it is. You're just trying to. Anyone who's looking for truth, if you've been in any kind of good history class, the history teacher will tell you anytime you're looking back in history to see what was the motive of a country doing something or a war that broke out or any moment of violence or anything, Who gained from it is usually the first question, like follow the money. Who gains the most from Charlie's death? So that has to be anyone who's serious about investigating, whether it's the authorities or anyone, that should be their first question. Well, who gains from this has to be part of the analysis, and also who are lead suspects or whatever, the shooter and all that stuff. Fine. But if you don't ask yourself who gains from this and at least thoroughly investigate that to make sure, that sounds to me like some of the lines of questionings that we saw from Joe Kent and others. And the reason why when I'm watching Charlie, I resonate with so much of, because I went through the same thing of, I grew up, everyone telling me, Israel's our greatest ally. I heard it in the church, in the Catholic Church in the Midwest when I was growing up when I was a kid. It was just automatic information like, oh yeah, the Israelis are our greatest ally and this and that. I mean, I don't, right? You don't even think about it, right? You just hear it from people that you trust, that you love, that are your elders, that are telling you this because they've been told this. And before all of this stuff, if you were to just neutrally look at things, I've heard before that we're the most propagandized country in the world. And I never associated that at all with anything that had to do with Israel. But then when you tie that in there, and then when you start to look deeper and you start to look like, man, there is a real engine here, a real machine of propaganda that has been, concentrated within this country that not only affects the citizens and the people, but it affects our politicians heavily. And they're mixing things where you're like, okay, now it's political ideologies with theology. And then you have religion mixed with it. The two things you're not really supposed to talk about, right? At the table, politics and religion, both elements are dominated by this propaganda machine. And it's a very powerful mix because then you have the people who are like, well, they're our greatest allies for military reasons, intelligence gathering, and this and that. And then you have the people who are looking at it from, oh, someone tells you that there's a biblical backing for this. And even though guys like me, we can debunk that because we can say, well, let's look at the Bible and analyze that. Most people don't take the time to have that in depth of a conversation. So they just listen, everyone's busy. So the majority of the public, they just hear it and it sounds good. So yeah, why not? Right. They're our allies. Right. And then when you look and you just ask, well, have they fought side by side for us in a war? Like, why do we even say this? Because the British have, right? The British have actually been great allies. If you look at it historically in terms of they're willing to fight with us, they're willing to die with us, right? Our biggest trading partners are Mexico and Canada.
Yeah, no.
We're over.
Go ahead.
What's up?
I
Did I
don't know
lose
if
you?
you were cutting out or if you were still talking. I couldn't tell.
No, I must have been cutting out. Sorry, I am driving. But anyway, my whole point is just that there's a huge propaganda machine where everyone's been socially engineered that doesn't really pay attention that, oh, look at those crazy people over there. They must be anti-Semitic because they're talking about it. All we're doing is asking questions. And when you ask honest questions, trying to find the truth, it's amazing how people just, you're getting close to something when the reaction to it just increases. This person became dangerous now because they're talking about something they're not supposed to be talking about, which means that you're getting closer to the truth. And I think Charlie, one thing we know about his pattern of behavior is he was a truth seeker. He was out there having open conversations with people. Hey, let's debate about it, and let's just have this open, fair conversation. And that's someone who's seeking the truth. And obviously through the text messages, through the stuff that you're revealing right now, he was just coming around to, wait a minute, man, this is all kind of deceitful. And there was a part of him that I'm sure, look, it's unfortunate that wanted to be friends with them because of, where his religious background came from. He was heavily influenced into thinking we have to have this great relationship with Israel. Because again, theology and politics mixed together. Very powerful weapon that's been going on for decades and decades. And people have tried to bring it out and be like, hey, this isn't really good in terms of American sovereignty, about American interest. It's such a deep thing. There's so many layers to this that it's unfortunate that, yes, we're just talking about it a lot. But that's because a lot of education needs to be, a lot of things need to be revealed so that people understand how deep this really goes. And if we really care about the United States, we just have to have these honest conversations, and people are scared to have them. So anyway, I just applaud you, man. Keep going, keep doing your thing. And I just, that's it. That's all I got.
Yeah, I didn't know. I feel so stupid for having. Well, I mean, I know that like people have their own agendas and stuff too. So it's not to say, right, that Israel isn't facing its own threats. Right, every people, every religion, every country, they have threats. right? That they're dealing with. I'm not saying that, but this is the US. You know, they're over there, we're over here. Yeah. Let's go
But that's
to
part of it too, Diligent, is the half truths, right? Isn't that what makes it so hard to discern for the common person that doesn't pay a lot of attention in detail? It's those half truths, because then they hear the half truth, and then what they're going to do is they're going to go find someone like, and I don't want to call anyone out, but I have to say like a Nick Fuentes, let's say. And, he may say something very sensational. I don't watch him, I'm blocked by him. But my point is, they're going to highlight whatever he said, because now the person who's paying attention to the half truths, they're going to get thrown off and say, oh, everyone who's questioning the narrative must be like this guy. It's just smart propaganda, information, warfare. It's very difficult to combat, because you have to sit down with someone and you have to really say, look at this, look at that. And if you look at it objectively, you have to start asking these questions of why. And those are the same questions that Charlie was clearly asking towards the end of his life. And again, no one is saying that this means or it's proof that the Israelis did it or anything like that, but it does raise more suspicion. Why haven't the authorities at least investigated and asked these questions so that we have those clear answers? And that leads to even more suspicious, like, well, why didn't we look into that? That's just basic investigations. And that's what leads to these conversations. And then people are going to slander it, and they're going to say it's from hate, or it's, because of that. No, it's because we're seeking the truth, and people are scared of the truth. And that's the fact.
Can I
Maze.
say a big thing? Like, I don't think it's people that say that.
Take over for
I
a
think
quick
it's
second, Maze. I got to move my fan.
I got you. I think it's specifically like the people that attack fellow Americans for criticizing another country. Like, now you're being labeled something. I don't hear people calling, people what is there an anti-chink Chinese, whatever. Like, you don't ever hear about that. But it's like, God forbid anybody says something. And to me, like, I think it's specifically people with vested interest, either because they're Jewish or Christian Zionist or paid. But it's very anti-American to do that.
It's the religious part too, Mace. That's what makes it so passionate for some people who don't look at all the facts. They're like, wait a minute, we can't even be questioning this. That's Israel. That's the Bible. And you got to remember that there's like 60 million people that follow that line of thinking. It's like 50 to 60 million people, where just
There's
for
80
them.
million Christian Zionists in the United States. 80 million.
Oh, okay, yeah. But I mean, I'm trying to be generous, because I know it's like the evangelical movement is the majority of it, but it's not all evangelicals. I have to be fair, because I've had some that get heavily offended. They're like, I don't believe that stuff. And I'm like, okay, good to know.
But
Good to
what's
know.
the
It's not,
percentage though? Because they've been
it's
doing
a
this for
big
about a
percentage.
century.
And it's mostly the white ones.
We've covered this in Spaces extensively when I was doing all my Zionism investigations around surrounding the NDAA, right? Like, and here we are, full circle, back to it, right? And the NDAA passed today, right? And I'm like, why? Why is there so much support for this foreign country domestically? How have they captured our Congress the way they have?
My final point, Diligent,
they've been indoctrinating our preachers for decades. Remember, it began right after the USS Liberty. We found it documented. They were flying preachers to Israel, indoctrinating them and sending them back here. They've been doing it for generations. That's why there's so many Christian Zionists, which is a contradiction. You can't be
right.
It's contradictory.
Right. And that leads to my final point, which is this. What was Charlie? What was TPUSA? A blending of politics and religion. It was the perfect thing, the perfect venue. If there's a golden calf or whatever, a golden prize or treasure to grab, I know. I'm sorry. I'm driving, so it wasn't the best analogy. But my point is, if there was one big treasure that they wanted, is this? I mean, think about it. What's the best propaganda? Politics and religion mixed together, like TPUSA, which happens to be the largest, most influential conservative movement, especially with the youth in this country. They were going after the minds of the future generation so that they can do stuff like this NDAA and times 10, like on steroids, because now the cat's out the bag and people know, and they're losing popularity. But the plan was to take TPUSA and just totally integrate that and multiply this propaganda machine.
Agreed. Let's go to the hands. Go ahead, Uncle Tom, and then Coyote.
All right, I appreciate it. Yeah, thanks for having me up. Yeah, you guys, between the two, three of you that were speaking, and I mean, I love the monologue too, Diligent, but the between the couple of you who were speaking and you were talking about propaganda, and that's where it starts, I think. Um, of course, because these are where the ideas, just the average citizen will be just become tribal when they have all this stuff pushed onto them. And uh, I know you weren't diligent. You weren't going to play, or you hesitated about playing some audio or video. And by the way, I'm live on YouTube, and my audience is actually watching on YouTube as well. So I did just make a post, I think, that speaks to the propaganda. The last
I
post I
didn't
did, it's
hesitate on
only.
playing anything. I couldn't find it.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Well, I think what I'm getting at is we have the paper trail. Not we. Baron discovered this paper trail, and it's out there now. And as soon as I saw it, I just posted it. So it's live. I mean, I think for your audience on YouTube, it'd be great if you played it, whether now or at some point. And because I just think it speaks to everything that you guys have been talking about. And the companies that Baron is discussing is called K Creative. And so when you see this narrative from influencers just being pushed on your feed consistently, whether
Oh,
it's the
that's been out for a
ballroom.
while. That's the
Well, there's
Project
the Esther
Esther.
Project. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not just talking
Coyote's
about
been
the.
talking about that for like a year and a half, like ad nauseum.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with the Esther Project, but but this I think the K Creative specifically. Have you heard of that company, K Creative?
I have personally.
Okay,
For
and
like
But we can
so
40.
listen to the clip. All right, here we
I
go.
think you
Oh, this is a good
should
one.
because they
So one of the
advertise
places
this,
they
and
spend
when
a
you
bunch of money is
see,
this K Creative.
because I don't know
All right, this
I
K
think you'd be
Creative.
talking about it
This is
more if you
a
had
good
already
way
seen
to
it, so it might
figure
be
out
new to
why
you.
your
So take
feed.
a look. It's the last post I did.
Oh, this is a good one. So one of the places they spend a bunch of money is this K Creative. Right? This K Creative. This is a good way to figure out why your feed often looks the way it does. You remember after the White House Correspondents' Dinner event? Look at that. Control the narrative. You remember after the White House Correspondents' Dinner event, there were like 40 social media influencers, all with the same message. Got to build the ballroom. This is why we need a ballroom. Don't tell President Trump he can't have his ballroom. Stand down on the ballroom. Well, that's what K Creative specializes in. You want to see an example of it? I'll show you. They're proud of it, by the way. They're proud of it. They show actual examples of their things. And notice who's in here. Benny Boy Johnson. Look at that. Here's 24 straight minutes of Democrats denying election results. Why didn't the Republicans DA prosecute them? Clay Travis. Here's 24 minutes of Democrats denying election results. When will these crimes be prosecuted and all these Democrat politicians be arrested? Libs of
Guys, remember the ballroom blitz after the attempted the quote unquote assassination attempt against Trump, the last one. Remember when they all said they saw a leftist kill Charlie? Remember when they all said they saw a high definition video of Tyler Robinson taking out Charlie? Remember that? Remember when it was all the same wording, almost verbatim?
TikTok. Here's 24 straight minutes of Democrats denying election results. Whatever you do not share this. They're bragging. And then they have all these different examples of all these different stories. This is why it looks that way. This is why your social media feed looks the way it looks. This is why you scroll. You say, why are 10 people talking?
This is a foreign agent, a registered foreign agent, paying our influencers to propagandize us. That's what he's pointing out
About this today. They're bragging. It's an advertising campaign. They're bragging that it's an advertising campaign.
Yep. Yeah, I saw that. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah,
Coyote's
so
been He's been talking about this for a long time. Go ahead, Uncle Tom, then we'll go to Coyote.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah. I mean, so your counter movement, in my opinion, if that's what it is, that's what I mean. I'm just trying to open up speech myself with my platform, and bring awareness to just speech in our country in general, and this kind of propaganda. But yeah, I'll yield my time.
Coyote.
I appreciate you, Diligent. And good to see you, Maze. I guess tonight is not the date night, but we'll talk about that later. But I would say, Diligent, I think, what you were talking about earlier, it really hits me because I've been looking into this, like the October 7th thing. And that episode that he did about, he's like, they're going to ethnically cleanse. And then he says, he challenges it when he questions, was there a stand down order? Like that was very like even watching that today, it's like, damn, bro, are you sure you should have said that? But a lot of these things, it's like you can't, because it's like how do we say that that wasn't like how can that even be a question? A lot of these things that there are because people say that we have to have evidence of it. No, the evidence is that there was a long ass time that it took, and that when Charlie Kirk starts speaking out vocally about that. And even on that little episode that he did with Ben Shapiro, these things are very telling. Whenever it was right to the wire, right to the nitty gritty, and seeing that our FBI doesn't even ask the people questions that say that somebody told them that Israel's going to kill them. I don't understand how people even question this still. It's like there's no doubt that this happens. You got a freaking billboard that goes up, I mean, within less than 24 hours after he dies in Tel Aviv, that our president ends up quote retweeting that nobody bats an eye on. Like my thing is, it's just amazing to me how we just can't, we can't just buckle down and say like, hey, there's something probably right there. That's who did it. It really appears that they have a big hand in it. And I don't see any other way, because Charlie Kirk he was hurting Israel, bro. Like he wasn't doing good. And that dude had more, honestly, I got to give it to him about his free speech, man. He really stood for free speech. But to say that like that they don't have anything, I do think that they had a big part in it. I think that our governments probably both collided on it too, evidently, if you look at our FBI and stuff. But to say that there's no kind of interest of Israel, like why would they not want him to not be alive? Because he was kind of, dude, he was flipping the whole Gen Z, man. It's just I don't know, man. I don't know how we still
on
question.
the conservative side, he was flipping them, right? They
Yeah.
already lost Gen Z on the left.
And I think this did it more. I think this just intensified it, because it's like, bro, the numbers, they don't lie. Did I get disconnected?
No, we're
Oh,
good.
there it is. Okay. Yeah, but the numbers, like, they're dying, bro. They're just like, and that's why they're doing these things like in the NDA. And thank God the Senate had to take those provisions out of theirs. And we got to hope that whenever they come to the table and try to put those together, that they just leave that out, because the American people don't want it. But this is telling. And think about this, Diligent. I really want you. I've been looking at Speaker Mike Johnson, and I've been looking at Pete Hegseth.
I ratioed him this morning.
Good. Keep doing that, bro. These people were put into that place. They have a certain ideology that makes them see that they are doing God's work, and this God Magog war kind of thing. That's dangerous. That's not what the forefathers would have wanted. That's exactly opposite. Now, our Speaker Johnson, I go to look into it further. He believes that basically he's calling Jackson. He says that what he meant in the Danbury letters wasn't correct, because they didn't want us to make our, how we interpret the Bible, to start making, determinations in foreign policy on that. You can simply go, like, people go Google search it. Does Mike Johnson's religious ideology, does it interfere with his decision making on foreign policy? Google will tell you yes. And that's where I think that a lot of this was put into play beforehand, because nothing blinds us more than our faith. And whenever we get into something, because they're not making the decisions in a pragmatic kind of way. They're not thinking about the other percentage, the majority percentage of the Christians in the world and even in the country that don't think like this, or the people that aren't even Christians that are living in the country. That's the thing, man. And that's where it's getting all twisted up in all this. We have to buckle down and go back to what our forefathers wrote. Our forefathers did not want us making Old Testament prophecies into our foreign policy, man. Anyway, I appreciate you letting me get that, and keep ratio on Mike Johnson, bro. That dude's he's trash.
Yeah, he is. I can't stand Mike No Johnson. Can't stand him. Who did I say was next?
Diligent, can I play a quick clip of Charlie Kirk questioning the October 7th situation?
Go for it.
Okay.
I still have the same gut instinct that I did initially. I find this very hard to believe. I've been to that Gaza border. You cannot go 10 feet without running into a 19-year-old with an AR-15 or an automatic machine gun that's an IDF soldier. Right? The whole country is surveilled. And so let me just kind of go through this. We don't talk about Israeli politics very often, and most Americans don't know this. The last 9 months, Israel is on the brink of civil war. It's not an exaggeration. This judicial stuff, there were hundreds of thousands of Israelis taking to the streets because Bibi Netanyahu is basically redefining the Israeli constitution. That's not an exaggeration, right? But I think some questions need to be asked. Was there a stand down order? Was there a stand down order? 6 hours? I don't believe it. Israel's the size of New Jersey. When I took a helicopter ride from Jerusalem to the Gaza border, it's 45 minutes. 6 hours. Did somebody in the government say stand down? That is a legitimate, non-conspiracy question. The whole country is the IDF. The whole country is. I gotta be careful the way I say this. They're gonna try to ethnically cleanse Gaza. Yep. I mean that's, and I don't use that term lightly. Okay, they're talking about basically removing 2.5 million people from there. Okay, and let me tell you, my pattern recognition over the last 5 years has become pretty sharp. COVID, Maui fires, Epstein. When I see a story and
this was last year,
our guts are usually right.
I think that's what got him taken out right there.
that statement.
If when you see all the things, when you look at all the things Charlie said about Israel, Epstein being a Mossad agent, him pushing against the Iran war, going directly fighting with
Ethnically
Trump.
cleansing Gaza.
Yeah.
Stand out. He said all of the cardinal sins, right?
I mean,
that not
this
all of
is
them?
like he's public enemy number one for the Israelis because what he's doing is essentially changing the hearts and minds of Americans who were sheeps for decades to believe whatever mass media told them. So, I mean, obviously, there's a strong motive to remove somebody, a voice so big, so powerful that can basically change the hearts and minds of the youth of the Republican Party going forward. They already lost the Democratic Party, the youth in the Democratic Party. If they lose the Republican Party, that's it. I mean, there's no future. And Israel is a leech on the U.S. for decades. Where would they go without the U.S.?
You guys, I just noticed that there is 80 reposts and 560 people in here. Do me a favor. Help me beat the algorithm. Go to the comment section, hit the repost button. Thank you so much if you're on X. If you're over on YouTube, give a channel a like. Helps the algo, comment, all that stuff. Yeah, they didn't have anywhere to go. I mean, he is the last bastion of Israel's support on the right for the youth. Him turning on them is massive. Massive threat to them. It's easier to control his legacy than it is to control him. I think that's why he's no longer with us. Go ahead. Let's go to Harrison and then Carrie.
Hey, what's up? What's up, Diligent? Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I just had a message that said I lost connection. Great space. I really excellent space because more and more that I'm learning, and especially with this, and just like you said, you're not accusing anyone, but it's all about motive. And when you look at the orchestration of this whole assassination and the motive behind it, and all of the information that obviously you talked about in the space, and the whole Christian Zionist thing, this really sheds a lot of light on that as well. When you look at, sometimes it boggles my mind, these people for years, and when you think we have evidence basically now that the biggest Christian Zionists or biggest Christian Zionist organizations are heavily funded directly by Israel, and that doesn't come without
Strings attached.
Strings attached, exactly. I mean, this to me. Listen, again, we're not saying anybody knows anything. I know nothing. I'm just learning. But I mean, really, the evidence really points with the motive there. Now, another thing I wanted to say, and I'm not attacking anybody's personal beliefs or anything here, and
I
I
don't
have
have
no
any
idea.
evidence that Israel killed Charlie. I'm going to make that clear.
Yeah. But as far as religion, this isn't an attack on anybody. It's just my personal beliefs. I mean, the old Karl Marx quote, opiate of the masses. I mean, it boggles my mind that people. I mean, it's man-made. I mean, God, the idea of God, the idea of a deity, is something that
I don't really want to get into the whole theological debate. I want to keep it centered on Charlie Kirk and him leaving Israel. I don't. You're
Well,
getting
no, but
off
it's a
into the
great
weeds.
explanation, and it's something that everybody, once you learn about it, it's always going to be in the back of your mind that somebody's watching over you, and that so it's just it keeps people in line is the bottom line. I mean, animals don't have religion. Animals go about their
Well, it gives
life
us a
in a
code of
primal
conduct,
aspect.
right? It gives us something to strive for. It gives you something to, again, I don't want to get into
Well,
the
right. It gives
whole
you. It basically
fundamentals
says,
of religion, and I don't want to have that discussion. Like, bring
absolutely.
it
Yeah,
back
yeah.
to
But
Charlie
We
Kirk.
all came from nothing, right?
well,
We're not
exactly.
having this
So it's
debate.
an
Okay,
explanation. It's an
just hang
explanation
out
that we
there,
all
Harrison.
wonder. I'm
Hang
sorry.
out. We're gonna go to Carrie. Go ahead, Carrie. Carrie.
Hey,
Hi.
thank you for having me up. Um, I just wanted to say that anyone that wanted to prevent a war um, would have been against Charlie at this point.
Anybody who would wanted to commit a war, you mean?
Oh, yeah, he wanted to prevent it. They
Right.
wanted to commit it. Yeah, thank you. That's what I meant. And I listened to Candace's Spaces, and she talked about how Charlie said when he was younger that he thought he was going to die young. And my question is, okay, he got up to this space where he knew he was probably going to be killed. And who could have protected that? Who could have protected Charlie? And why did not they do it?
Well, he had a whole security team that was tasked with protecting him. And it's a very good question. Why did they not do it? Thank you. Let's go ahead, Mace.
Because they were in on the shit, in my
I
opinion.
ain't saying
In
that.
my opinion,
You
in
ain't
my
getting me
opinion.
sued. You ain't getting me
I take it back.
sued. No.
I take it back.
The views of the co-host are not the views of the speaker. Jeez, oh Peach, what is going on
I mean,
these
I
days?
muted back up and then you told me to go.
Bro, why y'all do this to me? Aeon, go ahead, then we're gonna watch out.
Appreciate the mic. Thanks a bunch. So I'm just gonna put some information out there for people to kind of think about. Basically, I'm pretty sure that the Annunciation school shooting that happened in Minneapolis, I mean, I'm basically positive that Jacob Frey was in on it, the mayor of Minneapolis. And I think this is connected to Charlie Kirk's murder because I think basically what happened with
It
that.
was pre-narrative.
Yeah.
I remember it was the first shooting. If you guys don't remember, I called this out. It was the first shooting of the year. It happened just before Charlie Kirk was assassinated, and it had the writing on the bullets, and it was a leftist who shot the church. Go ahead, Aeon. You're on the right track.
Yeah, so like that happened just like weeks before the Charlie Kirk's assassination, and
then just
to me,
after Charlie Kirk's assassination, there was another shooting at an ICE facility where they found writing on a full bullet. You guys remember that? Am I the only one that remembers? Except for it was a migrant that was killed. They didn't really talk about it too much, but yeah.
Right. Well, the thing, is the thing that I think about this is that like this was like the initiation of like some black operations done by Israel on U.S. soil. That's kind of how I see it. That they began operating on U.S. soil for, doing all these like heinous atrocities. Charlie Kirk murder, the Annunciation school shooting, and it was to cover both sides of the anti-Israel kind of movement. Charlie Kirk was the Republican side, and
Damn, bro, they got you.
Which side got him?
Damn.
what's that?
You were cooking, bro. They got you.
They got me. What do you mean?
You cut out right as you were about to drop the stuff, drop the juice. Oh, dude, I can't say. Damn, I can't say juice anymore. You motherfuckers.
That was perfect.
Am I
Aeon.
still on?
So they took out the right, and then you were gonna say what?
And then the Antifa people that they set up was like the left side of the anti-Israel movement. The leftists that are kind of anti-Israel. That's the way that I see it. I mean, I think there's a lot.
And you know what? Yeah, I don't know how to get the volume to regulate YouTube. Okay, let's just be happy that you guys can hear me today. We'll get the rest of that dialed in later. Do you remember when they were blaming Fuentes at first too?
Yep, they said it was Groypers.
Yeah, and then he kind of like got shook and flipped a little bit right there. Wow,
Yep.
I didn't even think about that.
And you know how
continue.
we can't say. Oh, sorry.
Let Aeon finish.
Okay. But what would be his motive, though? He doesn't have a motive.
Well, let Aeon finish.
I'll add this last piece to it. Now, I actually pieced this together and I emailed law enforcement in Minnesota. And I don't know if this is connected or not, but it strikes me as that it might be that when ICE came here to Minnesota and started shooting up everybody, I think it was the federal government trying to send a message to local law enforcement that was trying to scrutinize the mayor. Because the mayor came out and did a speech 2 hours after that shooting. Why is he ready and so prepared? He had like a can.
Damn, they got him again right at the key moment, man. Wow.
Right on the
I'll go ahead and throw out my joke then. Since we can't say juice, and at my house we say juice
I'm saying
box.
juice. I didn't mean it like that. You guys
No.
mean Jews when you say juice.
No. So at my house we say juice box, but so just to avoid the whole juice word altogether, I just came up. We could say Capri Sun.
No, fuck that. I'm saying what I want to say.
That's not talking about those poor people. They've been persecuted for a long time.
I figured out what it was. My phone kind of goes funny on me. Hold on one sec.
Turn your Wi-Fi off.
Turn your Pegasus off, sir. It's interfering with the signal.
Hold up. Okay. All right. Now I should be fine now.
Tell us about the mayor.
Yeah. So the mayor came out and he gave a speech 2 hours after it happened. And he seems like he has a canned speech and he's ready to go. And it's like lights, camera, action. And he's like campaigning and he's like bragging about human services at the site of the shooting. I'm like, this is crazy. It comes off as like really just like psychopath behavior. And then the police chief is like shaking and reading a message off his phone. And he's like on the verge of tears and he has like a real emotional response to it. So I figure like the police chief maybe wasn't read in about what was going to happen, but Jacob Frey seemed too prepared. And so I basically reported all this. I'm like, this could be connected to the Charlie Kirk stuff. And he's too prepared in that speech. And there's been a lot of drama in the city hall ever since all that happened and the stuff with ICE. And I really think that all that stuff is connected. Like, I really do. Like the ICE shooting.
Send me a DM with that, will you?
Sure, I could, for sure.
I'll take a look. Thank you. Go ahead. Watch out.
Hi, Diligent. Thank you for having me up here. I just wanted to bring up the Senate election in Michigan. I don't know if you've been paying attention to it or not.
I'm not
But it
paying
looks
attention to any elections because I think they're all bullshit.
they are, because it looks like Haley Stevens, who has been AIPAC's test case baby since 2018. She was the first race in which they used a Democrat in the primary. APAC used a Democrat in a primary election to defeat the sitting Democrat. And apparently her spending
That's not
from
the first time
APAC,
that happened. It happened in New York. It was the most. It was the
was
most.
it?
It was the second most election primary in history paid before by APAC and pro-Israel lobbies,
When was
besides
that?
Massey.
Oh no, I'm not talking about the amount of money. I'm talking about them actually defeating a sitting, using a Democrat to defeat a sitting Democrat.
That happened in New York.
When did that happen?
The last midterms,
Oh no, she's from 2018.
or maybe
She
it been
is she is the
2024.
she is the OG APAC baby from 2018 when she defeated Andy Levin, who was a Jewish community leader who was pro-Palestinian, and APAC didn't like him, so he had to go. Her spending has now surpassed that of Massey's. So I think we're looking at like 32, 33 million dollars for a primary election. And I put down in the purple pill down there a campaign ad that they just released from her side, in which they are making it look like the Republican candidate is endorsing Abdul Said, who is running against her, who APAC does not want because he says that that Israel is a genocidal state, and they're going to try to do everything they can to make sure that that man doesn't win, even though they really want the Republican in the seat. They don't even want Haley in the seat. So if anyone knows anybody who lives in Michigan, please tell them to go out and vote. I know it's a sham, but we gotta, put up with the pretenses and put up with whatever circus we're in right now. Um, it is appalling the amount of money that they're putting in here. And just to say
Do you have
something
to
about,
register as a Democrat to vote in the Democrat primary like you do Republicans?
yeah, you have to register to
That's
do that,
so
but you can
whack,
do,
dude.
but you
That's
can,
so
yeah, but
whack.
you can do it when you go to the polling station. Like I'm gonna do it on Saturday. I had registered as a Republican for the last election, so now I'm gonna do it as a Democrat so I can vote against her. But what we're seeing on X, because I guess I'm a little more involved in this, is a whole bunch of accounts, like African American accounts, who are, again, just like somebody was saying earlier, saying the same thing about Haley, that, oh, she's growing on me. Oh,
Yeah, paid. They're
she's a
paid. They're
real
paid ops.
Michigander. Because they know that they can't win the election without Detroit and Wayne County. So they're really trying to push an African American narrative that somehow they are for Haley Stevens when she hasn't really
I feel
done
like we're
anything
kind
for
of getting off
anyone.
into the weeds. I want to keep
I
it
know, I
back
just
on.
wanted to bring it up because voting starts on Saturday. So if anyone knows anyone who lives in Michigan, please ask them to go vote because Haley Stevens, the APAC princess, might just win her election.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Go ahead, format, and then Zach.
Oh, let Zach go first. I'm busy for 1 sec.
Everybody hear me?
Yep.
Every time I requested to speak on your space, my app totally crashed out. So I just wanted to make sure everybody heard me.
Yeah, it happens a lot.
Dude, it's insane. Like, especially I think the past like 4 days, I tried to request up and you would bring me up, but as soon as I would hit my mic on my app, like I'd go to my home screen on my iPhone and I'm like,
Yeah, it does that to me when I'm hosting sometimes.
all right, well, dude, I'm not trying to derail the conversation at all, but like I just want to humanize you. I've been listening to you for quite a while. I don't know if you even know who I am or even see me on spaces, but
I
like,
recognize you from spaces for
okay.
years.
Yeah, it's been years, yeah.
hmm
But like, okay, so like, dude, you as a human, what kind of music do you like? Like, you know what I mean? Listening to you this long, like,
He's a
I
salt and pepper kind of guy.
Do you want
TLC.
to know the name of my childhood best friend and the first dog I ever had,
no, I'm not
and the
looking
last
for your.
four of
I'm
my
not
social?
looking for your password, bro. No, I just like what kind of music do you like? Like, I don't like. I know you. You are a
He likes
hardcore
reggae, bro. He's a
investigator.
reggaeton guy.
Okay,
I'm
so what?
very eclectic. I listen to a lot of different music, but I would, if I had to pick a brand, it is movie soundtracks.
Ooh, that's kind of like your cottage cheese.
It is my cottage cheese with peaches.
All right, so well, okay, I'm an East Coast guy. I like who slightly
All right,
stupid
man. All right,
is.
that's enough. That's enough. We
Kind of
can do this
creepy.
later. You can do this later. I'm gonna keep it on topic. We have a lot of people listening that are here to listen about Charlie Kirk leaving the pro-Israel cause and the NDAA. No offense, Zach. No offense.
No, I hear you. I hear you.
You have any thoughts on that?
I mean, the whole Blake thing and him like I listened to Bannon. Like Bannon got me involved in politics back in like 2019, and he was the only show that I watched. And just to see the transformation of just the grift, the shit talking, like I don't know, man. The way Blake Neff has been talking and Colvett taking over that show, like I listened to it just to hear what is actually going on because
Zach,
it's a facade. It
Zach,
is.
$20. I can get you a picture of Diligent's foot. By the way,
This is not true.
Yeah, are you saying like I'm obsessed with Diligent or
All right, let's
something?
go to
no.
format. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Were you trying to
Hey,
say
thank you,
something, Anthony?
Diligent. Oh, go ahead, Anthony.
No, he was trying to talk shit. Go ahead, format.
Right. Hey, so in regards to that clip you played of Charlie calling out October 7th for being a false flag, I'm just curious, does anyone here know when that clip was made? Like, I know the answer, but I'm just curious about the room, like, because this might be a surprise to you guys.
I think it was in 2024, wasn't it?
No, no, a lot earlier, a lot earlier.
I mean, how
That
much earlier could it be? October 7th was at the end of 2023.
Yeah, well, it was so this was on Patrick Bet David. The podcast came out on October 12th, 2023. Uh,
So the
and
next
it was,
week.
yeah, it was recorded like on October 10th or 11th. So 3 to 4 days after this shit happens, Charlie comes out and reveals everything that he knows about how the Israeli security apparatus works. And to me, that was massive, like leaving the farm behavior, right? Because like normally, like if you're thinking that this is like a limited hangout type deal where it's just embarrassing not to talk about it for so long. Like maybe he waited a year, 2 years, then started talking about it. No, this shit happened 3 to 4 days after the event. He was way ahead of the curve on like even a lot of like conspiracy theorists and people who investigate all the Israel shit. They weren't talking about it for a while. He was there 3-4 days after the event talking about that. So that really raised some hairs on for some people. So I thought that's interesting for people to know. I think Charlie was actually trying to leave the farm.
That would correlate with Candace's text messages, right? Yeah. So it's obvious that he was never. I mean, not never, but he wasn't 100% on board for a while. You cannot say, "Oh, it was a one-off. He was just angry. He was just stressed." You can't say that. It's not true.
And
Dr.
Diligent,
Strange.
he said it repeatedly, right? This what the previous speaker said. He's absolutely right. It was on October 12th. It was published on October 12th on the Patrick Bet David show. But then he also said it on the Megyn Kelly show. He said it in other places. There's also another clip that I wanted to share that I think, I mean, if you actually, this is what I'm planning on doing. If you put together all the various different clips when, Charlie Kirk is speaking about Israel, October 7th, um, Epstein and its connection with Israel, or Mossad for that matter, you could see a pattern that the Israelis would automatically look at him as the enemy. It's just so glaring. So there's definitely that motive thing. But I did wanted to share another quick clip of Charlie, if that's okay with you.
Go ahead.
Bear with me.
Can you tell us the context, the date
Oh,
and time,
yep,
please?
I will. Hold on. So this one is with Ben Shapiro. He's on the Ben Shapiro show, and
This is right before he died, right? Like the week before.
I think so. Yeah, it was. This is well, it's posted on September 11th, 2005, but somebody posted it afterwards. But I think it was a few weeks before he
Yeah.
was assassinated. So this is interesting.
And one thing a friend said to me, interestingly, which is okay, Charlie, we push back against the media on COVID, on lockdowns, on Ukraine, on the border, on it's like maybe we should also ask a question: is the media totally presenting the truth when it comes to Israel? Just a question, that maybe we shouldn't believe everything the media says, because I know I've been conditioned to ask a lot more critical questions over the last couple of years. So Ben, some people would accuse Israel of wanting to ethnically cleanse.
It ended there, but that's not the other. There's another one that I wanted to show. Hold on one second.
All I can picture is eyebrows. That's it. Like
Yep.
listening to that.
Yeah, Ben's
Yep.
eyebrows.
That's the eyebrow one, where his eyebrows goes like 3 inches up as soon as he hears the words Israel.
Jewish communities have been pushing the exact kind of hatred against whites that they claim to want people to stop using against them. Now, I don't like generalizations. Not every Jewish person believes that. But it is true the Anti Defamation League was part and parcel with Black Lives Matter. It is true that some of the largest financiers of left wing anti white causes have been Jewish Americans. They went all in on woke. And it wasn't just ADL, it was some of the top Jewish organizations in the country that have done that. In fact, we have seen this with the recent retreat of Jewish donations that are no longer going to be administered to colleges, right? Mark Rowan, Leon Coffman. Can we get that full list? It's very powerful. So that's totally true. And by the way, Tucker Carlson reinforces this. So I'm going to it was quite a day on the internet. Tucker Carlson was interviewing Candace Owens. We have Candace Owens coming up next hour. And Tucker Carlson mentions that Jewish Americans have primarily been financing cultural Marxist ideas. We said this, by the way, last week, and people came after us. We actually said it in a different way. We said, I'm glad that Jewish Americans are reconsidering their financing of cultural Marxism. And people misunderstood it intentionally and slandered us as being anti-Semites. But listen to this. Tucker Carlson is completely correct by saying this, that the philosophical foundation of anti-whiteness has been largely financed by Jewish donors in the country.
That was that.
Is there any way you can put that in the purple pill?
Sure. Yeah. I'll put all of them there. And then if anybody wants to be tagged, just I guess send me your handle.
Thank you, Dr. Strange. Let's go to PTS and Carrie. I'm going to be wrapping up soon, probably in the next 10 minutes. PTS.
So it seems like listening to this. So remember the thing about Erica at Tucker's place and Tucker saying she was very anti Israel too. Like she was basically on the same line and stronger even position than Charlie had on it.
Who?
So Erica, his wife.
I don't remember that. No, I don't really
Yeah.
like
So
watch Tucker though. I don't really
so
watch him
no, so
really.
it
You're
wasn't
saying
on
anti
Tucker.
or
It was
pro?
on Candace. And Candace said when she was at Tucker's house having dinner, Erica was more anti-Israel than Charlie. Tucker told Candace that, and Candace outed it on her show. So, knowing all that, knowing what the consequences would be for Charlie to keep pushing this, to me, that, and then Andrew sending the messages to the FBI, kind of implicating Israel in a way, almost makes it seem like more like TPUSA almost wanted it just as much, if not more, than Israel did.
I mean, there's a lot. There's who knows? Who knows? We don't know who is Andrew sent it to. He said he sent it to somebody in the government. He didn't say who. And Joe Kent was part of the Homeland Security investigations into foreign threats. It got sent to Homeland Security somehow. It made it around. Who knows who he sent it to though? He didn't disclose that. So, but a lot of people at
Diligent.
TPUS, a lot of people at TPUSA benefited after he was gone. I can say that much.
Diligent. Did you
Right.
think it was weird the Nick Shirley kid being on the that same day that this happened on Charlie's show?
Um, it is strange, but I mean, what more can you say? I mean, there's not, it is strange.
I think they were already testing out replacements because they had already started bringing out weird people like that
Oh, do you guys
Brenlin
remember
Hollyhand.
the twink, the
Yeah,
fucking the
Brenlin Hollyhand.
oh my god, he was horrible. He
Yes.
was
Oh, whatever
Yeah.
immediately
happened to
rejected.
him?
And then the amazing Mikey
Oh,
McCoy.
they're asking too many questions. They're rejecting the twink. We need to replace him. Call somebody else in.
Yeah. And everybody they threw Mikey McCoy at us, another twink. They, you know what I mean? They threw Nick Shirley at us. They threw all the, and I think that's what they were doing. They were trying to find someone.
And they haven't. They haven't found anybody. There's not another Charlie. I was they have a screenshot that gets put in the replies, and it's me arguing with Charlie on the timeline about Epstein. And they've and I ratioed the shit out of him, by the way. If you go find the tweet. He had and just to be clear, I met him when I was at Amfest. I made videos that he shared on his profile about Amfest. Um, when I flipped on Epstein, when I started to deviate from the herd on Epstein, he did too, a little bit, and then he posted or he made a clip, or he did a video, and then he posted the clip where he said, or no, he quote posted somebody else's clip, or somebody else was calling him out about talking to the Trump administration and then saying, I'm no longer going to talk about Epstein. I'm done talking about Epstein. I talked to our friends at the administration and at the White House, and now I'm not going to talk about Epstein. And I called him out for it and ratioed him. And he at first he's like, you're telling lies, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, no, I'm not. You said it yourself. It's in your post. Read it. It says that you talked to the government and now you are going to drop this issue. I was like, as members of the, as the media, we have a responsibility to hold the government accountable on issues like this. I hope that your audience treats you accordingly. That was how I didn't even say anything rude to him. He ended up switching. He got so much backlash from that comment. He ended up switching. If you go look at the history, that week, after that weekend, that was on a weekend, that week, he went back to supporting releasing the Epstein files as a result of that pushback.
Yeah, I remember on that Monday, he recorded a statement and clarified himself.
Yep.
And you know how many people use that post of yours to try to get me to not listen to you? Like I get sent that all the time. Why don't you
Yep.
listen to him? Look at this post or look at
Mm-hmm.
that post. This person
And,
criticized Charlie. Oh my
and
God.
when
And
when they say that to me, I said, and I would do it again.
exactly. Charlie criticized people he liked. Like what? Like, so what? I criticize my family. I criticize my own son. Like, we criticize people when they're doing something wrong. That's love. You don't let people just make mistakes and not say something if you care about them.
Dilly, I think
And
the weirdest thing in all of this was that day that Charlie Kirk, when this happened. Do you remember? Because you held a space, and everybody already had this. They already had the agenda, the narrative. They're coming up there with it was a leftist, somebody on the left, and they were transgender. Had killed Charlie Kirk, bro, and it was just like it was weird how they already had it before we even knew. I just never forget that, man. You should clip that because that was weird.
Oh God, and the Jack Posobiec every day posting, I saw a leftist shoot Charlie Kirk. I saw a is shoot Charlie Kirk. You didn't see shit, Jack, and you still haven't seen shit.
I
He's
think Destiny cussed him
Agent
out for each
Poso.
one.
What, Maze?
I said Destiny cussed him out under each one.
I ratioed
Good.
him. I can't tell you how many times.
I'm blocked by
And got him
What's up, yeah?
and they were using my posts to community note him. He got community noted a bunch of times. He's a liar. That dude just straight up lies. Just lies to the audience. Does not. He's just a part of the state. He's an agent of the state. You know, that's what
He's on his
TP.
way out.
This is why I said I don't. It's not just Israel that had an incentive to take Charlie out. The government had an incentive to take him out too, because now they control his organization.
Yeah, he was boxed in on all sides.
Yeah. Now, TPUSA is just a facet of the state, pretty much, right? It is it's another arm of the deep state.
A
It's
regicide, a
yeah.
hostile takeover.
And when you hear these people make the argument that, oh, well, if it was IDF or Mossad, they could have just poisoned him. I saw this on Robbie Stark put out this whole documentary that I was really proud
That
of.
propaganda video he
The
did about Candace
propaganda.
Owens.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, no, like they're not gonna.
I swear I'm not getting paid. I swear.
Well, even if he wasn't, and he was just some sheep wanting to fall in line with the narrative, the reason why the poison argument doesn't work is because you can't. They literally use this public event in order to be able to attack the left. That's the whole idea, in my opinion. So that seems more plausible than like a poisoning. It seems more
Well, and
plausible
you
that
do some secret shady
I mean,
poisoning, people are going to
it's
immediately think
multifaceted.
Israel.
The public execution shocks everybody the way that 9/11 did. And then you can carry out policy during that emotional moment, right? You can convince people of things. You can unite your crowd, right? Except for it was so sloppy in the aftermath. I think it's because Tyler Robinson lived. I
But
think if
think
Tyler
about
Robinson had died, we would all believe the lie and you would have a more unified right. But because Tyler Robinson lived and they obviously were not prepared for that, people aren't buying it. And then the whole thing falls apart.
but this narrative is really loud if you listen to these influencers talk about the right, talk about it's the left. It's the left. I mean, Crowder, huge platform. Crowder
Where
really.
is the left though? You know what I mean? They're awfully quiet. The only people I see talking about it are the Republican are on the right, like people like me, conservatives. The left is like fucking crickets on this issue.
Well,
I could
the left is using it to demonize the right too, but it is a bit ironic
the
that
left wing media is pushing the same narrative as the Zionist right.
well, I just meant from a standpoint of you're able to push this narrative of by the violence of the left, so they could still push the official narrative, but nonetheless, there is that left. I mean, the left does it too. Hey, the right's violent. They both sides say they're violent, but I'm saying it depending on someone's theory around what happened to him. I think you can make create this
Except for you
puzzle
can't even really
solve.
sell the transferry story. You gonna sell that with Lurch Lance Twigs up there? That sounds like hello. I swear I used to be Luna. I'm no longer Luna, and that's my boyfriend that I can't recognize. And by the way, we slept in different beds, and I don't know what his favorite color is. I don't know what kind of food he eats.
And we
What
didn't
else do
talk
I not
about
know?
Charlie. We didn't
You know what I
talk
mean?
about
Like,
Charlie.
yeah, nobody. Yeah, we never spoke about Charlie Kirk. As a matter of fact, we never talked about LGBTQ issues. We didn't really talk about politics all that much either. Only when you heard something on the radio on his way home from work. Like, come on, bro.
You know, Dilly, it's like that. It's like these the rest. I guess you say they're on the right. I call them new conservatives, whatever. They're kind of neoconish, but they become conspiracy theorists. Honestly, it's like the exact same thing that they're used to calling people, and they're trying to villainize people as.
Every
That's what they've done.
accusation is a confession.
Everything, bro. It's like they have the weirdest shit of not saying like this case has holes in it, bro. It's got a lot of holes in it. It's a weird case. It's not open and shut. But their little conspiratorial minds or mindset, bro. It's like they can justify this as open and shut. Like he did it. It's no question about it, bro. It blows my mind.
Well, wait till Barron's interview on Redacted propagates throughout the night and tomorrow afternoon. Once those clips start coming out, they're gonna crash out. It's gonna be I'm predicting a pretty big crash out. You're gonna hear it from everybody because he was dialed in, he was locked in on Redacted today, and that happened at 4 p.m. Eastern. If anybody wants to check it out, but that was yeah, it was good.
And who the hell are these people, bro? There's like the people holding spaces on you and stuff, bro. It's like so weird. Like you don't even know who a lot of these people. They come out the woodwork, and everybody's so accepting. It doesn't matter that the guy's new. Like this guy's a new face. We don't know anything about him, but everybody just flocks to him on that side, and they start quote. I just don't understand people anymore,
Yeah,
bro.
they opened their account January 26th.
And it's like they're verified. Yeah, like this
It's
guy, we know he's awesome.
it's not organic. It's not real. My account is fucking shadow banned though. It's been a long time since it was shadow banned like this. 100% shadow banned. I did a test earlier. I was like, damn. It was after the and what sucks is that I have like a one-off, a nuclear option whenever this happens that I can usually go to. And I used it trying to get my co-host reinstated because right as this was happening, my co-host got suspended as well. Harmony, we all know Become Harmony. She got suspended last weekend. Been trying to pull strings to get her reinstated. Can't do it. So something's
Did they
going on
say
with
why
X.
they suspended her, or they didn't tell you?
They didn't tell me. Very weird acting about it. Very weird. I don't usually ask favors from the people I know that work there, unless it's a big deal and something that should be fixed. And the individual I sent it to at first was just looked at it but didn't respond, and then on the next day I got a response and they said that a human review was done and the decision was upheld. And I was like, wow, damn, okay. And then I had a nuclear option that I've used for myself whenever I get shadow banned when it says my posts are unavailable. And I feel like that's where I'm at right now. And I just asked him to see if he could help with that. So I can't. I don't want to like try the nuclear option again. And I haven't got a response from that one back yet either. So I'm waiting to see. But I don't know if they are weaponizing mass reporting or bots. Or I know I was going to bot attacked. I've probably blocked over 1,000 bots this last week. I mean, it was insane. The amount of accounts that were like made in 2011 that had they were just reposted things, and or brand new accounts, and the only reply they ever had was to me, or old accounts where the only reply they ever had was to me. Really weird. I was screenshotting it so I can like research it later. But just every post, hundreds and hundreds of bots, especially about Penguich and the receipt and that witness. And then on top of that, I had like Viva La Fray and Paramount, Paralittle Testicles, and all of these other accounts like attacking me, quote posting me, trying to use the old doxing. The old doxing attempts and the same smears they've already all tried, failed. It seems like when they couldn't cancel me, they did something, because now my shit from my posts are just like really throttled. Really
They use the
throttled.
Rise app, bro. The
What?
Yeah.
RISE app. Yeah, yeah. They use the Rise app. They mass report. They hit it off on a third party app, and then they'll mass report the shit out of you on the Rise app.
If you zoom into your analytics and tell me when it started, I can go do a little investigation.
I
And
mean, I
really quick,
posted a screenshot of it earlier. It's in my reposts.
okay,
You can
I'll
see it.
look.
You can see it. It happened about 4 days ago. I was
Oh,
like,
okay.
I was averaging a few million a day, and then it just drops off a fucking flip down to zero. Today it was like down to like 20,000 impressions or something. I've been through this before, and it sucks. It sucks because it feels like you're shouting into the void. And what was interesting is that it hit my YouTube yesterday too. The video, the live stream that I did last night, got a. It didn't say why. It got an unsuitable like strike on it. I had never seen it before, and I was like, "What is this?" And then I opened it up, and it says that our systems have detected that your content is unsuitable for broader audiences or some fucking kind of weird shit. And it's like you can appeal it and request a human review. And so I did that, and then it came back okay. But that all happened last night too. So there's some really funky stuff going on. I probably am getting targeted for mass reporting or whatever, and because I'm not like that big of an account, it still affects me or something. They
But how does it
definitely don't
affect
want
like
me.
Harmony? Because, okay, one thing I just want to highlight, I have 4 fake ass accounts that I've had them all mass reported in spaces, and they're all floating around like nothing happened.
I have had death threats the last few 2 weeks, and I report them because they're on the timeline or they're on messages. People who are telling me to stick a gun in my mouth and to delete myself, all kinds of like really vile stuff, and I report it, and I'm getting the reports back saying that they did not violate the terms of service. So I don't know. Like it really does seem like X is and I was demonetized too. Like not officially though. They just didn't pay me. Like I don't know. I spent a lot of money and effort making original content in Utah, all original. Even when I was like doing the hearing, I had my studio set up like I do now. You can see me on camera. I'm like doing, I'm hosting conversations in between when they're on recess and all that stuff. Like it was original, and they stripped the payout. So I don't know what was up with that either. So and
Diligent.
that was the same weekend that Harmony got suspended, and then the following week or that same weekend I got shadow banned, and now I am apparently yeah, I don't know. It was a lot, a lot. What was that,
You
Lune?
you had there was a speaker speaking yesterday. I don't know if you remember. You had to cut him off and you said, "Hey, we're on YouTube." Remember he had said something. I remember what he said, but I'm not going to say it. It was along the lines of, well, he had cursed a few times and then he used the P word. Um so I don't know if maybe that's the reason why YouTube gave you that, but I remember it being like kind of you were just like, "Whoa, slow down there. You
Yeah,
can't
but it
say that in
wasn't
my
anything that
space."
bad.
I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of that happened yesterday, as far as that video goes.
He said, Poncho, you said the P word?
He said Puerto Rican.
I don't know. All right, you guys, I'm tired. I'm gonna call it a night. I have to. I'm gonna be traveling here pretty soon, so I'm gonna be moving to a new location tomorrow on my way. Um, I am going to. I'll wait to announce it tomorrow. We're gonna be doing a space tomorrow. I'll be doing another live tomorrow. Baron has agreed to do a live stream with me on Saturday. That's not going to be an X space. It's going to be only a live stream. So he's going to come over to my channel and do that. So turn notifications on X. Share that channel around and turn notifications on X or on YouTube, but on X, turn all notifications on for my profile. Make sure you're following me. People are being unfollowed from me. People are getting notifications turned off. I'm getting messages without them doing it. So go check, make sure that you're still turn notifications on, and share my posts when you see them, when you get the notification. That way I can break out of this fucking the shadow ban, because it's I'm gonna be dropping some I'm gonna be dropping some I'm gonna be dropping some news this upcoming week-ish, that is out of Utah, and it's nothing anybody has seen yet. And I want to make sure that I am not throttled when that happens. So if we can work together to get you out of this, I would appreciate it. Thank you so much. Okay, let's go to the last of the hands, and then we'll get out of here. Go ahead, Six String.
Hey, Diligent. Actually, that's what I wanted to say. I didn't really have much to add other than the fact that I just wanted to let you know that I've had to follow you 4 times in the last 3 weeks, and I was wondering why you weren't coming up on my feed. And it was weird because I had to actually actively search your page to see if you had new material. And first time I thought that's odd. That's kind of weird of me. I know I follow him, so I didn't think anything of it. The second time, and then the third time it happened.
Did we lose him?
They got him.
Damn, bro. So yeah, people are getting unfollowed from me. So if you're not seeing me, go back to my profile and follow me again and turn notifications on, because
Of course, I am. I do it all
no,
the
I'm
time.
talking to the audience.
Yeah. But yeah, no, that's been an issue. I know they're really turning up the heat, and one of my accounts, my previous account, I'm not going to mention it. I mentioned it in another space, and the instant I mentioned that account, my Gmail email relevant to that account started getting some weird attempts on it. So I'm not even going to, because there's a lot more people in here, so I'm not going to say it. But yeah, it happened to me, and they don't give you an explanation. I've got the temporary suspensions, but when my account was nuked, where it just like I woke up one day, tried to log on, and I got like everything was just suspended. I couldn't access anything, and it was the same thing as your friend. I tried to appeal it so a human can review it. They came back, and I've had an appeal before on another account years ago, and they were very fair, and they reinstated with conditions, but they reinstated. This time around, within less than a day, I got the notification back saying that a human reviewed it, and nope, no can do. And I've heard from other accounts they've been very, very strict with that kind of stuff, especially if it comes from an anti-Zionist post and or anything relevant to the Charlie Kirk investigation that is relevant or relative to Israel. They seem to not want, and I can only surmise that's why my account was nuked, because really that was the only thing that I said that might have been controversial, a connection to Israel and Charlie Kirk, and it was on one of Lionel's posts. But once again, I couldn't even be sure of that because they didn't tell you. They did. I asked them what post in particular was it that is the issue. They wouldn't say. They said they're not. They don't have. They reserve the right to not tell me, and they said the suspension stands. So yeah.
Yep. Yeah. It's crazy. It's like Twitter. Like
Yeah.
Twitter.
I just want to say, keep doing what you're doing. I was listening to Baron Coleman the other night, and he said something that just, of course, it's processed, but I've never really fully kind of processed and thought about it. But if you think about it, like TPUSA, all the kind of the usual suspects, all the kind of Zionist accounts and so on that attack you and Candace and everybody else. Especially TPUSA, they have the presidents here, the vice president, the FBI, the DOJ, a bunch of different influencers. They've even turned some influencers that were on one side and the other. And I think that is the arrogance. And they really botched this particular, this particular assassination, I think. And I think that the Charlie Kirk assassination is going to be the thread that unravels the Zionist sweater. But unfortunately, I think that it's going to take some time. And of course, they're really turning up the heat to try to all the dissenting voices and all the naysayers and all the people that just don't buy the official narrative. They're really turning up the heat to kind of like destroy reputations and trying to, take everyone down. And but you got to think about that. Like I'm not saying you're a small time account by any means, but you're a citizen journalist. And look what they have on their side, and look what you have on your side, and you're fucking ratioing them. Candace is ratioing them. Like I'm looking at all these accounts, And like I said, Andrew Colvin, who literally has the president's here, the VP, FBI, DOJ, so on and so forth. They have all this backing, all this money, obviously Zionist money, to say the least, and who knows what other types of funding that they're receiving as well on the back ends. But you guys are citizen journalists, and you're ratioing them, and you have more of the people on your side, and you have the people's ear and the court of public opinion. You guys have that on your side right now, going for you, no matter how much they're turning up the heat. So just keep it fucking going, man.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
Have a good
Will
night,
do.
buddy. Thank you.
Have a good night, Carrie.
I think that um, the United States was for the war. Israel was for the war. Why couldn't some other entity come in and have saved Charlie? Because everyone in the world was not for the war.
Okay, that's true. Thank you, Carrie. Go ahead, Harrison.
Hey, what's up? Thanks. So we have the Fed slop narrative, right? That we're not buying, obviously, and then we have the Israel potential. Is there any other decent are there any other possibilities? Are those the main two? Thank you.
Um,
The Somalians.
TPUSA and the Doge audit.
Well, TPUSA would be part of the Israel angle, right?
I
Well,
mean,
not
not
if it was
necessarily. I have
straight
no
for the
idea. I
Doge
mean,
audit.
you're painting a broad brush with something that's nuanced. I think that, and alls we know is that the Tyler Robinson lone narrative gunman story, is bullshit. We have evidence of that. We don't have evidence of anything else. Alls we have is motive and speculation.
Got it. But I mean, right now, that seems to me like the most obvious. I mean, the depth, the scope of this assassination, what you would have to do to pull this off and cover it up, and just yeah. I mean, so basically, it's leaning towards this for me, at least.
Oh, I'm getting some DMs about the platform. Yeah, it is. Some people who I know are not like, yeah, yeah. You guys know, yeah, it does seem like it's totally controlled. Yep. I wonder if it was always controlled and we were just lured here, or if it became controlled after we were already here. I wonder. Let's go to Coyote and then Doctor Strange.
Good thought right there. XAI and then the Department of Defense
You're
or
cutting out every
whatever
other
it is.
word.
You're rugging.
Man.
Go ahead, Doctor Strange.
Thanks, Diligent. Diligent, I have yet another clip of Charlie Kirk where he speaks about the Epstein situation. It's a short clip, but I think it's well worth it. Since you brought it up, I also want to know if this clip was after your back and forth with him or before. Let me play it. It's only about a minute.
Lies that Epstein, with his little friend Ghislaine and Ghislaine's father, Robert Maxwell, who was obviously a spy of the Israeli intelligence agencies, that there was something else going on here. Epstein was not some sort of whiz kid hedge fund manager. Epstein was playing a part. Epstein was a LARPer. Epstein was cast for a specific role, and he played it really well. The sweatpants and the Harvard jacket, the kind of disheveled hair, looking as if he was so smart and above the clouds that he was doing advanced mathematic equations on the back of napkins. But if you actually go into some of the videos of people that met with Epstein at the time, they said he was awfully unimpressive when it came to finance and markets and economics. And it's nothing new that if you're in the intel agencies, you want to try and get as much blackmail on powerful people as possible. Easy, not hard. And this is no longer just speculation. First of all, the evidence that shows that Epstein was a creation of either Mossad, Israeli intelligence, American intelligence, Saudi intelligence, or maybe he was just a hired gun. Maybe he was just a guy that countries would go to and park a couple $100 million and say, hey, can you get one of the members of the royal family with a 13-year-old so we can get them to do what we want to do? Members of Congress are actively being blackmailed. The Epstein playbook is being used on a daily basis. Jeffrey Epstein was not a financier. He was not a hedge fund manager. Jeffrey Epstein was a key player in a multi-decade blackmail operation against the most powerful people on the planet. Lies.
That was it. So was this before or after your back and forth with him?
It was before. That was before he flipped. I'm having Grok pull up the thread right now. Here that is. I'll play the clip. Let's see. Yep, here it is. So here is me mocking him in July 14th. This is when I was pissed. Everybody was caving on Epstein. And
Last year, right? July 14th,
I'm sorry?
2025.
It was it was July 14th, 2025. Yep.
Honestly, I'm done talking about Epstein for the time being. I'm going to trust my friends in the administration. I'm going to trust my friends in the government to do.
I'm done talking about Epstein. I'm going to trust the government. So I just want you to imagine what my reaction to one of you would be if you were making the statement to me. It would be the same. It would be the same. So they have screenshotted this, and let me I'll leave it up so you guys can post it. Right? Should we mock Charlie for his lack of integrity?
Do what needs to be done.
Let's listen to what he said.
I'm done talking about Epstein for the time being. I'm going to trust my friends in the administration. I'm going to trust my friends in the government to do what needs to be done, solve it, balls in their hands. I've said plenty this last weekend. So if you guys want to see my commentary on it, that's fine. Honestly.
Trust the government. That's what he said. And I went hard. I did. I went hard at him. Here we go. So this is the back and forth. So he Ken Klippenstein made this clip.
I'm going to trust, honestly, I'm done talking about Epstein for the time being. I'm going to trust my friends in the administration. I'm going to trust my friends in the government to do what needs to be done, solve it, balls in their hands. I've said plenty this last weekend. So if you guys want to see my commentary on it, that's fine. Honestly.
And he's pivotal. He was pivotal on our side to create the pressure we needed to get the Epstein files. So he quoted him here. I'll read it. He says, this is such a lame non-controversy. I spent the weekend talking about Epstein, as did many of our speakers at SAS. Nothing was off limits. I discussed how the communication and transparency could be much improved, how the base wasn't going on, just moving on, provided options for ways forward. I believe the clip that you played where he's calling out Epstein for being linked to Israel and CIA was him at SAS this weekend in question, right? He was on stage with Megyn Kelly having a conversation about it, right? And they called out Epstein for being a Mossad, being a CIA agent, right? That happened at SAS, and it was a conversation on stage between him and Megyn Kelly. Just after that, he got a call. He got the call. He's telling you he got the call. He talked to the administration.
Honestly, I'm done talking about Epstein for the time being. I'm going to trust my friends in the administration.
If you want to know what getting the call sounds like, it is, we have to have justice for this. This guy was an intelligence agent. He's blackmailing our Congress. They're controlling our Congress with this. And then 2 days later.
Honestly, I'm done talking about Epstein for the time being. I'm going to trust my friends in the administration. I'm going to trust my friends in the government to do what needs to be done, solve it, balls in their hands. I've said plenty this last weekend. So if you guys want to see my commentary on it, that's fine. Honestly.
So I immediately called him out. Right. And just so you know, I ratioed him. Right. It wasn't, You know, it was just the truth. The people and this we shared an audience. I have the same audience as Charlie Kirk, like MAGA, Republican, conservative, right? We have the same audience. And so when I called him out, he got ratioed. It says this. I said, you sold out, disgraceful, quote unquote, trust the government. I hope your platform treats you accordingly. This is what they've been screenshotting and running around. They took this out of context, right? They just took this. You hated Charlie Kirk. That's what they say. They reply to it. They send it around. You hated Sess, right? Exclusives, scoops, insider information, access, particularly. Access is money. Access is clout. Access is fame, right? They don't always outright pay people to be shills. People will do it just because they want the access. Your own words. I said this to him in response. Again, I'm not attacking him. Your own words. Our job in the media, okay? I'm saying this to him. I'm chastising him. Our job in the media makes it impossible for us to be friends with those in charge. We cannot be friends with the government if we're going to hold the government accountable. Have some integrity, bro. If we stop talking about Epstein, they will change the subject. I screenshotted him. This is such a lame non-controversy. Yes, I spent the weekend talk about Epstein, blah, 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 right? Scroll down. Now I'm giving it space to operate. The ball is in their court, and I'm trusting those in charge. What is he saying? I'm trusting the government, who has been sitting on the Epstein case for 30 years, right? And not doing anything about it. And again, I ratioed him, even in that reply. He got 291 likes. I got 1,000.
So I'm guessing this was at a time when
This is when I flipped, like famously flipped on the party on Epstein.
No, I mean, did it already come out that Cash and Bongino and Bondi weren't going to do anything? Was this after it was already the citizens at large kind of understood, like, okay, these people aren't doing anything, and he still was holding out hope? Or was this when, like, maybe hope
No,
was still on the table?
What he's saying is true. At students, I think it's students activism or something. SAS is like a convention that they do yearly about students. It's one of those college conservative efforts. I don't remember the acronym. Famously, a lot of that's where Benny John. Anyways, we won't go there.
Student Action Summit.
Student Action Summit, yeah. Again, this is when the Trump administration. Okay, this is what happened. This is my first major canceling by the right. Right, I was in the middle of the conservative MAGA movement. I was at almost every Trump rally in 2024. I had special guest access to most of them. I met Charlie Kirk. I would stay overnight and interview the people waiting in line and get content and post it. I was during all of the election shit. I was at the border with Anthony Aguero up here, right? I was in the middle of the movement, and on X, and especially in Spaces, I was the most I had the most traction in Spaces for the movement, right? You had the two, we won't unnamed foreign accounts that host Spaces, may or may not have a little bit of boosted numbers, won't go there, Maze. And then you had me, grassroots in the center of the MAGA movement, right? All aboard the Trump train, 100%. Even into 2025, up until Iran, right? I started to question things a little bit towards well, what was my first deviation? I guess my first deviation was we were supposed to get an arrest of somebody. Was it John Bolton? I can't remember who it was. And I was pissed that we were not getting the arrest we were promised. And then and Epstein happened. and they told us that they leaked that memo, and they told us that there was no co-conspirators. Over 1,000. They said it in the memo. There's over 1,000 victims, but there was no evidence of co-conspirators. No one else to try. No other clients. Nothing. Oh, and Epstein was a suicide. We've confirmed it. Then they released that doctored footage that was missing 3 minutes, right? And we all thought, I held a space. I thought it was fake. I was like, there's no way this is real. Axios had leaked the memo, and the memo looked all like pasted together. It didn't look real. I was like, there's no way. There's no way this is real. And then they did a Rickroll. Remember when the House Republicans put a post up saying it was the Epstein Files link, and then you clicked on it and it was a fucking meme? They Rickrolled us on the Epstein Files, and then the following Friday, I don't know. The following later that week, Trump held a cabinet meeting, and one of the journalists asked Pam Bondi if the memo was real, and she said yes. She said yes, and then Trump interrupted her and said, Epstein, are we still talking about this guy? Jesus, why do we care about Epstein? Acted like we were crazy, and my heart just dropped because I had been advocating for Epstein for years. It's on my timeline. I started hosting spaces about it shortly after I started hosting spaces I think at the end of 2023, right? I had been going to Save the Children rallies since the late 2010s. It's the only activism I had ever participated in were Save the Children rallies, right? And so when they said, "Oh, well, this is a hoax," not only did they say we're not going to do anything, right? They said that it was a Democrat hoax, and when I would not drop it, they came at me hard, and I didn't care. And this is me. This is the same thing. Charlie was on board that weekend. He was an ally to the truth. He went to SAS. He had a I wish I could pull the clip. Maybe I should. He went to SAS. He had a conversation with Megyn Kelly on stage. They called it out for what it was, right? An intelligence operation, a blackmail operation to hold our powerful and our Congress in lieu and control them, right? He called it out. And then 2 days later, after he gets the call from the government, from Trump,
Honestly, I'm done talking about Epstein for the time.
it was that. And I was very dismayed, and I went hard. I went hard at him. I said this. I think I hosted a space that day, right? I was pissed. I hosted a space. I called him out, ratioed him. I made that other post we looked at, and I'll own every little bit of it. And if I had the opportunity to do it again, I would, because I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change it. I was standing on principle. And if you look, he shifts back. I don't know if you can see it. Let's see. Everyone knows my opinion about the Epstein thing, the messaging fumble. I would love to see the DOJ move to unseal. This is afterwards, right? Unseal the jury testimony. I think it would be a big win. I would love to see that. And I'm going to trust my friends, Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, and my friend Pam Bondi. Okay? These are who he was trusting. These people, Kash Patel, his friend, what did Kash Patel do for his assassination? I would argue that these people helped assist in the cover-up of his death. I'm going to trust them to solve it. Balls in their court. There he is. This is what I was mocking him about. I took a screenshot and I highlighted that. Trust the government. Well, if we look, let's see. Did he change it? He did change it. Some of my supporters, yeah, see, here we go. Look, here he is calling for Epstein. Charlie Kirk. Right? People calling him out. There he goes. Charlie Kirk, AG Pambondi. This is in February. Pambondi says some Epstein information, including a lot of lights vlog, a lot of names, a lot of information will be released tomorrow. It's sick what this man was doing, right? Everybody was like, they were trying to make me feel like I was crazy for sticking to my guns on Epstein. But just look, Charlie's own post. We're going to get the Epstein files. We're going to get the Epstein files. This was a big thing to the base. And in July, they like psyoped us or psyoped the base. It didn't work on me. And I said, fuck you. You're not gonna, I'm not a conformist. I'm just not. Right. I have things that I care about, values that I hold dear to me. And there's some things that I cannot reconcile. I did a lot of cheerleading for Trump. I did a lot of cheerleading for MAGA and for Republicans and was very tribal. And when this happened and they tried telling me that it was a hoax and it was fake and he suicided and none of these thousands of victims were going to get justice, I couldn't reconcile it. But you can see over and over, look how many times he posted about it. Charlie Kirk. This is why I was mad. Phase 1. You guys all remember that? We got the fucking empty binders. These same people that Barron just pointed out as paid shills, okay, libs of TikTok, Benny Johnson, who's that? That's DC Drano. These are the same people that showed up to Tyler Robinson's hearing and told you they saw high def. Not these same specific people, some of them. These are the same people that lied about what they saw at Tyler Robinson's court hearing, right? They're all shills of the state, of the deep state. There he is. Epstein phase 1. It's happening. It's happening. It was fucking nothing. It was a bunch of empty binders. Propaganda. Here it is again. Donald Trump Jr. June 24. If you're in this room right now, you're probably on the FBI list. We all know that I am. You're in good company. I am on every list except the Epstein list. Haven't heard anything about that one in a while, right? This is while we were waiting for Trump to get elected. They were promising us Epstein, right? I'm not crazy. Here it is again. Okay. Charlie Kirk, just in. President Trump tells Lex Friedman he would be inclined to do the Epstein thing and that he would have no problem releasing the list of people who have visited the island, right? Numerous occasions of that. That's Charlie Kirk in September of, almost exactly a year before he was assassinated, right? There's example after example of this was SAS. This was SAS. This is the video I was talking about. So Charlie Kirk and Megyn Kelly are on stage at SAS, right? And they had this discussion about Epstein, and it prompted a call from the White House to Charlie Kirk that led to him saying that he's no longer going to talk about it. And he got pressured. He capitulated. And you can just see over and over. Look at Charlie Kirk. Epstein. Look at that. It just goes on and on and on. Shout out to Kelly. Good job, Kelly, pulling these out. Hell yeah. Let me save this. 100%. So when he flipped on Epstein, I called him out. I was calling everybody out. They tried to force me to go to start covering, what was the next thing? And they really came after me when I wouldn't shift gears because I was hosting massive spaces. I was clearing like 250,000 listeners a week in spaces, organic, covering Epstein that month. It's when they started trying to dox me. All of these people from like the CIA were threatening me on the timeline, saying they know who I am. I better keep my mouth shut. People who work for Palantir. It was really weird and crazy. First time that I've ever dealt with a massive coordinated attack is when I wouldn't let this go. And this interaction that they used to make it look like I hated Charlie Kirk is about that, right? I didn't keep talking shit about him. This was it. They screenshot this, and then they share it around. I saw the Fed sloppers doing it the other day. He hated Charlie. He hated Charlie. No, bitch. I am a man of principle, and I care about my country and my kid and our future, and I won't sell it for anything or anybody. I do not give a fuck how famous you are. I do not give a fuck how rich you are, right? That shit does not matter to me. Your money doesn't matter to me. Your clout doesn't matter to me, right? It does not fucking matter to me. I care about results. And they tried to psyop us into thinking that all of this didn't happen, right? That all of this didn't happen, and that it was all hoax, right? It was the first time that this is like when I woke up, like really not woke up, but really became aware. It was like I was half asleep still. Right? I was like all the way asleep, and then wokeness happened in the 2016s, all the culture war shit, right? And then I thought I was fully awake and aware of what was going on, but I was not. I was just told that this was, Trump was the solution, and the fact of the matter is I was still drinking Kool-Aid. I was drinking Kool-Aid, this Kool-Aid right here. And when Trump flipped on Epstein, I've snapped out of it. I said, no, fuck you. Fuck that. Nope. And he ended up, if you go look into it, right? Let's just see. We'll ask Grok. Let me make sure so we get it accurately. They just upgraded our talking Grok too, by the way. Let me make sure we got it in there. Well, I guess we're going to see what that's like. I pay for Grok heavy for spaces in our research. Here we go. Grok. Did Charlie Kirk push his stance to demanding Epstein after this pushback?
Yes, Charlie Kirk shifted to actively demanding full Epstein transparency right after the July 14th pushback. By July 16, he was already framing the push for the files as coming from Trump's most loyal supporters who wanted to expose the shadow government. And on July 18, he broke the news of Trump's directive to Pam Bondi and the DOJ's motion to unseal the grand jury testimony. He kept amplifying it through late July, calling out the judge who blocked the release and celebrating the House subpoena for Ghislaine Maxwell. The timeline shows the change happened within 48 hours of diligent denizens' reply.
Grok, is that the most ratio reply he got on the subject?
No, diligent denizens' reply wasn't the most ratioed on the subject. Kirk's July 14 post drew 244 replies to just 291 likes, roughly 0.84 to 1, a clear ratio.
The likes, my reply versus his response likes.
Diligent denizens' reply got 1,032 likes to Kirk's 291, more than triple. That's a clear ratio win for the pushback.
It was multiple times, and it was the only. Grok, did he ever get ratioed in the likes like that by anybody else? Over Epstein that weekend.
No other reply that weekend came close to outliking Kirk on the Epstein topic.
The pressure that I gave him, it wasn't just there. Grok, can you pull up the space that I did and the other posts that I did about it? Scan my profile.
I pulled your July 2025 Epstein posts and spaces. The July 14 exchange with Kirk sits inside a bigger pattern. You ran multiple spaces and threads that week, keeping the pressure on for full transparency. Key ones include your July 9 PSA doubling down and threatening to run parallel spaces, the July 20 post calling out desperate shills, and the July 21 thread on bot networks and doxing attempts tied to your coverage. Your July 24 Epstein R&D space with Grok post is still up too. Want the direct links to the actual space recordings or the full thread list?
Grok, did he change? Did Charlie Kirk change his position as a result of that pushback?
Yes, the pushback, including your July 14 reply, played a direct role in the reversal. Kirk went from, I'm done talking about Epstein for the time being, I'm going to trust my friends in the administration on July 14th, to posting a 10-point action plan demanding full transparency by July 15th, then amplifying the DOJ's motion to unseal grand jury testimony on July 18th. Multiple reports explicitly tie the quick flip to backlash from his base.
Yeah. They leave that part out whenever they're attacking me, saying that I hated Charlie Kirk. Grok, can you find the post that I did and at Amfest that year where Charlie Kirk quote posted it, where I had spent the night outside?
I couldn't find any post from your profile about spending the night outside at Amfest that Charlie Kirk quote posted. My searches across your timeline, keywords, and the web turned up nothing matching that description. If you
It's
have the
about the video was about how long the line was, or when I showed up at a TPUSA event or Trump rally.
I scanned your profile and the web. No post about
I'll find it
spending the
later.
night outside.
Anyways,
Got it.
that's the context. That's the context. Is he was all aboard. I mean, he was doing the right thing at first with Megyn Kelly, and he put the pressure on with his platform, and he got the call. Literally got the call. Told us that he got the call. Flipped, and then I put the pressure on him, and then he flipped back, and his next response to that, right, was he posted a 10-point action plan demanding full transparency. 2 days later, no, the following day. This is what we're supposed to do, right? This is what I do. This is what I am here, right? We keep each other accountable, and if we're accountable, we keep the government accountable and create pressure to achieve outcomes that we want. They use tribalism, they use clout, they use access, they use money to keep us from doing this, right? They squash dissent. They keep everybody on the same page, marching to the same beat, and then they can do what they want, and they don't have any resistance that's meaningful. I've been dealing with this since this summer. This was the beginning of my change, where I stopped drinking the Kool-Aid. I no longer drink the Kool-Aid. That was kind of an interesting little trip down memory lane. Anyways, if they tell you that I hated Charlie Kirk, I did not. I respected Charlie Kirk. And there was a few spaces that we did around then where I dreamed some funky stuff about him, and I remember sharing it in a space. I'm probably going to go back and look for it. It was around this time, and God, it was so realistic, and I remembered it, and I never remember my dreams. And I went into a space and described it shortly afterwards, because I woke up and went to a space and shared my experience while it was still fresh. I would really like to go back and listen to it now that he's gone. But yeah, I didn't hate him. That was the only disagreement that I had ever had with him. And as a result of that disagreement, he did the right thing. So when people bring it up as some kind of own on me, I say I would do it all over again. And I would, because he ended up doing the right thing. And that's how we should be. Have a good night, you guys. God bless you. Make sure you turn all notifications on for Maze and Destiny, everybody up on stage. Follow me on YouTube, share that channel. I am going to be on hitting the road again. So if you want to throw some, X demonetized me last weekend after I went to Utah. I don't know what that's about. So if you want to help me pay for a trip over there, buy me a coffee's up there. No expectations. I have some money. I can go over there myself, but if you want to pitch in, that's how you can help. Have a good night, you guys. God bless you.